Did you guys miss me? Because I know this. I missed all of y'all. My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and I have not been live on this channel since the day I turned 33, which, crazy enough, was 10 days ago. That might not be a lot of time for some people, but I go live on this channel a lot, and today has been a crazy, crazy day in the National Football League. We're going to roll through, we're going to talk about some of the NFL news that has happened, and then also we're going to look at some Raiders free agent targets at the linebacker and at the running back position. I will warn y'all, I am a little bit sick today, so if I sound nasally, if I sound shitty, I'm sorry. I do not feel very good, but you would have had to kill me to not be here live on the Raiders Report, because I'm telling y'all, I could not wait today to hang out with Raider Nation. The NFL Combine was awesome. It was probably one of the most humbling, eye-opening experiences of my career, and it's just like anything else you do. Right? I love talking to all of y'all, but when you do something a little bit different, it kind of opens up your eyes a little bit. And I know I said it a bunch, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart to everybody that's tuned in and already watching the show right now. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity for me to cover the NFL Combine. I know that I work hard, but you guys also show up here every single day, and you're a big part of the reason why I was able to go to the NFL Combine. You're a big part of the reason why I was able to talk to Fernando Mendoza, a big part of the reason why I was able to meet John Spytek. So I just want to say this again. Thank you to everybody that always makes this show possible. Now, let's talk about the craziness that's going down in the NFL, because tons, and I mean tons of NFL news needs to be discussed today. But before I tell you, the big news that literally just happened, if you didn't see it around Kyler Murray, we're going to talk about it. But what I want to know from you is this. Who's going to be the first player that the Raiders sign in NFL free agency? Let me know down below, because I don't know if y'all know this. I'm going to be live next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, next Thursday. I might even be live on Friday. That's TBD. I do not know. I'm going to say next week, you're probably going to have probably about 30 hours of live content here on the Raiders Report. I mean, the moment I get into work on Monday, we're probably going to be live, 6 hours? Tuesday, live probably 6, 7 hours. Wednesday, probably right around that exact same amount. And there's so much excitement here for free agency. I see a Devin Lloyd from Nav. Nav, dude, I'm so sorry that we couldn't get linked up in Indiana. I know that you made the trek there. The scheduling, the timing of everything was really, really difficult, but I really appreciate the fact that you showed up. Tyler Linderbaum from Arborough, let's freaking go, baby. Caleb says Linderbaum, I absolutely love it. Stokes, maybe we can end up bringing back Eric Stokes. If you did not see the big-time NFL news that just happened, the Arizona Cardinals have released quarterback Kyler Murray. The reason why that I think that this is actually kind of interesting is because the Cardinals already owe Kyler Murray $36.5 million guaranteed for 2026. Whatever team signs him is going to have the chance to do so at a massive bargain. So do y'all remember a few years ago when the Broncos moved on from Russell Wilson? Wilson signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers at that minimum deal, $1.2 million. Technically, the Raiders, if you wanted, what about Kyler Murray at $1.2 million? I mean, if we're going to throw out all these other quarterback names, I promise you this, I'm going to get you guys a video either this week, I guess it has to be this week, on some of the top free agent targets for the Raiders. Kyler Murray at $1.2 million, I don't know. I don't think it's the worst idea. I don't think he's going to come to the Raiders, but I think he's going to go elsewhere. Other big-time NFL news that ended up going down, Bears Pro Bowl center Drew Dahlman has informed the team that he is retiring from the NFL at age 27. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why Chicago was as good as what they were was because they made some moves to kind of build around Drew Dahlman, who had 4 years in Atlanta. Then he just had 1 year in Chicago. But you guys know, I love me some Tyler Linderbaum. I want the Raiders to go out and get Linderbaum. But I think now the fact that Dahlman has retired, Chicago is going to be a team that's looking for a center. I don't believe that they have enough money to go out and invest in Linderbaum. That also might be, I think Chicago's the top team that could make a deal for Max Crosby, just based on everything that I heard from the Combine, based on all the reports that are out there going on right now. I do wonder, could Chicago now be like, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to make a trade for Max because we need to be able to invest some of those resources that we were going to give Las Vegas. I wonder if now they're going to have to use some of those resources to figure out a way to go out and get a center. Let's go through some more NFL news. Trey Hendrickson not being tagged by the Cincinnati Bengals, which in all honesty, y'all, I don't really think that surprises anybody. I didn't anticipate them to tag him. He is one of the top free agents out there. Could be an interesting fit on some defenses. I personally don't think that he's going to be a fit here with us in this 3-4 that we are going to be running. But if there is one player that I am actually extremely interested in, and I talked about it a little bit on the video that I just dropped here in a little bit, and I see somebody with a Super Chat. Raider Tone, we'll get to your Super Chat here in a second. I'll also run through and tell you guys all the deals that we have here on the program. But the Vikings are now open to trading Pro Bowl edge rusher Jonathan Grenard. I like this move a lot for the Raiders. Now, according to the reports, Minnesota is looking for like a day 2 pick. I'm not giving up pick 36 for Jonathan Grenard. The reason why Raider fans, though, I do think should entertain the idea of giving up that third-round pick, number 67, for Grenard, because you would owe him $19 million in 2026, and you would owe him $19 million in 2027. He also has experience in a Brian Flores defense. Rob Leonard comes from the exact same tree as Brian Flores. Those guys overlapped for 3 years in Miami from 2019 to 2021. On top of that, though, if you're looking for an edge, outside linebacker, defensive end hybrid to be a really good Malcolm Kuntz replacement, I like that idea a lot. And then you also have to remember, the Raiders have 3 fourth-round picks, 102, 117, and 134. If you really wanted to get back up into the third round, you could package probably 102, 117 to just kind of get up there a little bit higher into that third round and still have that fourth-round pick. So I'm not saying the Raiders are going to do this, but for a player that's 28, 29 years old, I think Jonathan Grenard, for an organization that has a lot of money, because I think if Grenard's on the open market, he's getting a lot more than $19 million. Like, I know he had only 3 sacks last season, but he had 12 and a half the year before. And the Minnesota defense, they bring the pressure, but Grenard, I think, succeeds more when his team is leading. Minnesota, they had a good year, but they also had a lot of ups and downs as well. The reason why, though, that this is such a crazy day in the NFL, and if anybody out there wants a shout-out here on the Raiders Report, spam me down below because I have missed all of y'all. I should mention this graphic. It's supposed to say closes today. No, you're good. I said that on the last show that I did. It's supposed to say this closes today. It opened February 17th, and guess what? The franchise tag window, it's closed. 4 p.m. Eastern time, it's done. There was a few players that I think some of us were curious about getting tagged, like Tyler Linderbaum did not end up getting tagged. Kenneth Walker, not tagged. Breece Hall ended up getting tagged. The Colts ended up putting a transition tag on Daniel Jones. This should fire up people because Alec Pierce hitting the open market. It was reported that apparently Indianapolis and Alec Pierce are having some conversations. I talked to Jordan Schultz at the Combine. Sorry. And he told me that Alec Pierce and Indianapolis was trying to work on a long-term deal. But also, you don't know how much money that's going to be. Because if I'm Alec Pierce and I look at this market and I just saw that George Pickens, not just saw, but saw that George Pickens got franchise tagged. When I say just saw, that's the context of my conversation with Jordan. Because when I talked to Jordan, Pickens literally just got tagged. If I'm Alec Pierce, I'm the number 1 wide receiver on the open market. Like, that, to me, means more dollar bills. I see Bad Patron. What's up, man? Raider Jaime. Shab down there in the building. Emmanuel Sanchez. It is good to see y'all. Gene Martin. Raider Tone. Big Raz, dude. Big Raz, always a part of the Noti gang. Shows up here every single day. Does his job as a great moderator. Raz, always nothing but love for me and my team here. Raider Tone. Left tackle, Colt Miller. Left guard, JPJ. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Right guard, Dunker. What's funny is I was talking to my dad today about Dunker, and he's like, dude, did you see that guy with the mullet? And I'm like, did I see the guy with the mullet? I saw the guy with the mullet up close and personal. I think what Dunker is able to bring to the table is really fun. It's really entertaining, though. Caleb Rogers has still got to be a name to keep in mind. DJ Glaze, Charles Grant, I do think could compete for that offensive tackle position. But, let's also say this. I want the Raiders to bring back Jordan Meredith, right? Jordan Meredith was such a better guard than he was a center, and I feel like a lot of Raiders fans have kind of forgot the fact that Meredith was a reliable left guard in the NFL. I would actually almost entertain the idea of if you had Meredith at left guard, you put JPJ over at the right guard spot. Not to say that I don't like Jennings Dunker a lot, but we do have a lot of other holes that this team does need to be able to fill. And if you're going to take Dunker, second, third round, where do you think he ends up going? I mean, I was going to say, the 36 to 67, I think he goes in the middle of that. Because the offensive linemen, there's going to be a lot of offensive tackles that go early. I think they're going to be close to 6 to 7 offensive tackles that go in round 1. And then, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 go in the second round. It's going to be really, really interesting. So today's deals, y'all, are this. And I've been waiting a long time to do what I wanted to do, and I do this every single March, so I'm really excited to be able to do it. If you get your Super Chats in on today's program, we're going to be able to put you guys up on screen, and I'm going to answer them just the way that I've been doing. Bigger the Super Chat, the quicker you get to the front of the line. Think of it as like a Disney Fast Pass. If you want a chance to win a little bit of money, $20 Venmo gets you in the duck race, which we have not done a duck race in a very, very long time. So if you want to get in, want a chance to win some money, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. Also, $100, you already know. It's a bang. We're going to be giving away a really awesome, and I mean a really awesome prize to whoever bangs the most in the month of March, just because March is always one of the craziest months here on this program because of NFL free agency. But then, $50 Venmo if you want to get in Raiders Report March Madness. If you don't know what Raiders Report March Madness is, this is something that I've done the last 2 years. Winner gets $1,600. Yeah, you heard that right. $1,600 going to go to the winner of our March Madness. It's first come, first serve. So if we only got 64 spots. That's it. 64 spots. There is a team card. I think Reed made one. We have 64 spots. First come, first serve. We have 4 different regions like we always do. We got Las Vegas, we got Oakland, we got Los Angeles, and then I like to do the Brockton region because that's where Al Davis, R.I.P. to the great, was born in Massachusetts. But if you want to get in, first 64 entries, you in. Winner gets $1,600, and we're going to do 30-second duck races for each matchup. We literally get an entire bracket. Chugs, Reed, the entire team, they fill it out. I love this thing to be able to do this every single year. It's always a lot of fun. It's totally random. You could be a 16th seed and you could win. You could also be a David Zahn, won it 2 years ago, and he never won a duck race in his entire life. So if you want a chance to win some money and if you want to participate in the Raiders Report, I hope that you get in this opportunity because I always see it every year. People are like, can I get in? Can I get in? First 64 are in. That's the way that it goes. So if you want to get in right now, at Mitchell Renz 365 to get in, man, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. Lot of fun, which I just see it right now. David Vergara, the first person in our March Madness bracket. Hell yeah, brother. Nicholas Potter in the duck race, but Vergara, the first one. We got 63 more spots to go. Let's go back, answer some Super Chats here on today's program, and then the idea here is as soon as the actual games get rolling in is when we will start to do our Raiders Report March Madness duck race. We typically go bracket by bracket by bracket by bracket, and it'll be during my live shows. Let's go to Noah Peters. What up, Noah? I feel like there's some buzz about the Raiders trading away the first pick for some reason. I really hope we still draft Mendoza. Noah, I don't know what you believe in, but I'll tell you this. I believe that the Raiders are going to draft Fernando Mendoza. Being at the NFL Combine, again, super, super cool experience. And you got to understand, there's people in this industry. Don't get me wrong. I make videos, too, to give my opinion. There's people, though, personally, I think anybody that's talking about the Raiders trading away the number 1 pick, they're doing it for clicks. They're doing it for extra eyeballs. And I work in this industry every single day. I understand what it's like to be a content creator. Now, me, I know people might not agree with what I'm about to say here, but I don't need to look for clicks because I get clicks. You know, like, it actually really drives me nuts when people are like, Mitch, you're clickbaiting. I don't need to clickbait. We get clicks here. But I personally think that it would take every single pick that the New York Jets have the next 3 years for the Raiders to even entertain it, because I know John Spytek and I know Klint Kubiak did not commit to being like, Mendoza's going to be our week 1 starter. They love that guy, and everybody that I talked to at the Combine was like, this kid's an elite athlete. He's an elite prospect. He's got it up here. And when you're looking for a franchise quarterback, I think it looks a lot like Fernando Mendoza. Let's go to Raider Shield family. What up, my man Nav? Appreciate you here in the building. I asked Jeremiah Sr. what team his son wants to play for. He said, could you imagine him and Genty? Hard to deal with. Love folks. Great people. Jeremiah Sr. I mean, I'll say this. I talked to somebody very close to Jeremiah Love, and I think Jeremiah Love wants to be a Chief more than any other team in the NFL. For those that don't know, Dylan McCollum, the old Raiders running back coach, now with Kansas City, was the running back coach at Notre Dame as well. Yeah, I think going to the NFL Combine is really cool. You know, when you go into, like, the actual Lucas Oil Stadium, anybody can get in there. You don't need media credentials to go in there. Anybody can go in there. But when you go into, like, the media spot and then you're talking to, like, players, there's not many agents walking around there, but it's a lot of coaches. I'll say this. I think Jeremiah Love's going to be a Chief. I think he's going to be a Chief. Let's go to Xander DeGreat. Go Hawks, Super Bowl champs. A lot of Seahawks fans out there. There was actually a few Seahawks fans that recognized me and the show that we do here. And I had a few Hawks fans come up to me. Sorry, I dropped my hammer. Jeremy Bacon's hammer. I had a few Seahawks fans come up to me and be like, so Geno Smith. I was like, yeah, that one did not go well. They're like, hey, but Klint Kubiak. Klint Kubiak, I did not actually get to see Klint in person, which was a little bit heartbreaking to me. He was with the local reporters only. I tried to get in with the local reporters. They didn't allow me to get in. Though my guy Marsh, he got in with the local guys for the Giants. It was just, it depended. It depends. Which, yeah, I mean, if there was one thing that I also learned from being at the Combine, like some of the guys, like Vinny B, super nice to me, was willing to talk to me, very, very nice. There was I met Marcus Johnson. I met him. He was at the NFL Combine, super nice guy to me. I met some other Raiders content creators, and then, I met some other people that clearly don't like me, and that's okay. Like, I'm not going to hold a grudge against them, but, like, to me, when I go to those events, like, I think people assume that I'm a lot similar to the way that I am on live compared to the way I am in person, where, believe it or not, I'm just trying to get to know people in person. I don't know. That's how I operate. Now, man, shout out to you. Let's go to another super chat rolling in here. Xander to go. Crosby will be ours. I guess you're talking about Seattle. I really don't think that the Seahawks are going to be a team that makes the deal for Max Crosby. Again, like, to me, I would say the top two teams, based on what I've heard, the Chicago Bears and then the Los Angeles Rams. Those, to me, sound like the top teams. Chicago, I would say, is the clear number one. I can't say everything that I've been told. I've been asked not to say what I've been told. But Chicago is the number one team, and I want to be very clear on that. Number two is the Rams, and I just find the timing of Max's trip to Los Angeles very interesting. I get it. It was the NBA All-Star game, but the first player that Max Crosby met with on his podcast, Jared Verse, what team does he play for? The Los Angeles Rams. Did you all see who else he met with? I forget what her name is. It's like Sarah. I think it's Sarah Safari. She's a content creator. She's dating Puka Nacua. That was just released. So I just find it interesting that they make a trip out to L.A. Jared Verse they bring on for an interview. And then also they bring on somebody who's dating Puka Nacua. I'm not saying that Max wants to be down. I don't even really want to talk about the Max Crosby trade rumors, because if there was one thing that also was extremely clear from the Combine, the Max Crosby trade rumors are so blown out of proportion right now, it's not funny. There was a big-time conversation on day one. After that, I think certain people are just talking to the same people over and over again. If you talk to people close to the Raiders, it makes it sound like Max doesn't want to get dealt. You talk to NFL media members, Max is making it sound like to them that he wants to get dealt. Oh, Neil, what's going on, my man? What's up, Mitch? Proud of you and your Combine content. I appreciate that, dude. Do people really think that Spytek, Mark, Brady, and a minority owner fly to Miami, spend big to not draft Mendoza? Yeah, people do think that. They do. I greatly appreciate the coverage. Again, I thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and it allows me to do it. But also, we got to be able to keep in mind, Mark Davis flying to Miami Gardens to watch the national championship game. Let's say it's $1 million. Let's say the suite he bought for everybody was $1 million. $1,000,000 to Mark Davis is probably that $10 super chat. So I don't really look at that as being like that's the reason. To me, I look at what the Las Vegas Raiders need. This team needs a franchise quarterback, and this team needs a leader. This team, like, if you were to put right down, and I asked John, like, what does John Spytek look for in a franchise quarterback? It's very similar to what Klint Kubiak said he looks for in a franchise quarterback. And then if you were to ask Tom Brady, and I really mean this, what does Tom Brady think about a franchise quarterback is? If it's not somebody that looks exactly like Fernando Mendoza, I don't know what it is. You know, like, this team has a lot of holes, no doubt about it. Tons and tons of holes. But we also have money to be able to figure it out and fix it. And when you have franchise quarterbacks staring at you, I don't think it's a smart thing for you to do to move on from those players. Take your guy. Take your quarterback. He's right there. And Fernando is an unbelievable man. He's an unbelievable man. Now, what we are going to talk about, we got two segments today. We're going to talk about linebackers. We're going to talk about running backs. The first segment that I'm going to give you is a lot of the linebacker free agent targets that I want the Raiders to look at. Now, when I've talked about free agency needs before, you know, we've mentioned the edge position. We've mentioned defensive tackle. Now that we're running a 3-4 defense, the conversations around the linebacker position, I almost feel like have never been bigger since I have covered this team. And you know, I can remember back a few years ago when the Raiders signed Nick Kwiatkowski to a 3-year, $20 million deal, and then they also signed Corey Littleton that year to a 3-year, $36 million year deal. And I just remember how much conversation was around John Gruden and how much conversation was around that linebacker position. So what I want to know from y'all right now, what's the Raiders' biggest defensive need? Is it defensive tackle? Is it defensive end? Is it linebacker? Is it maybe corner? Is it still safety? Let me know down below what y'all are thinking. I see Steezy's going to go with linebacker. Nabman says biggest defensive need is middle linebacker and free safety. I'm seeing a lot of LBs down below. Lots and lots of LBs, which is exactly why I'm going to tell you the top 10 linebacker free agents that the Raiders should sign. Let's go to my brother, Rebel Montana. What's up, Reb?
Dude, Chat Sports has been so up this week. 2 videos going viral. Shout out to the guys that went to Indianapolis. One, this clip of our guy Billy Beebe getting locked up by D'Angelo Pons. And, yeah, Rebel, you're right. Marshall threw an absolute duck to our guy Billy Beebe. I mean, better placement, and that ball's there. And for those of y'all wondering, red shirt, this is my Team USA polo. It's USA football. So if you're hating on the shirt, you're hating on the USA. That's all I'm saying. But also, shout out to, can we get some F Sams in the chat?
F Sams.
F Sam, F Sam, F Sam, F Sam, F Sam, F Sam. He went viral because he actually was the only person who interviewed Damon Claiborne, Wake Forest running back, who's going to be drafted. He's going to be a mid-round pick at running back, was the 3rd fastest running back at the combine.
Yep.
I believe we're in a 4.37.
Blazing.
But shout out to Sam. He got posted on SportsCenter today. If y'all see that post, let him know that it's Sam Brown. Say, hey, that's Sam Brown from Chat Sports. Let him know. Because they didn't tag my boy. He's been getting noticed left and right from it, but didn't get the tag.
Yeah.
They did tag Billy, though.
Well, they did tag Billy. It's really cool about the D'Angelo Pons story is we have like 3 different views. Like I took a video on it as well. Chase took a video on it. And I want to say our other guy, Aiden, he works up in Cincinnati. He took a video on it. But the Sam clip, hang on, I got to sneeze. Son of a gun. Maybe not. I don't know. The Sam clip, he's the only guy sitting there talking to him. And from being at the combine, I know that there was a lot of clips that went out there like, man, nobody's talking to these offensive linemen. And I think the biggest reason that nobody was talking to the offensive linemen is certain media members, like Saturday hits, and not every media member has like the ability money-wise to like cover it from top to bottom. It's also an expensive trip. Like, you know, we got an Airbnb. I don't even know how much money we spent. But for the running back, there were multiple running backs near the end of that day of that combine that we waited. Like, we waited for the kid from Alabama. I can't think of his name right now.
Jam Miller?
Yes, Jam Miller. He was like 3 hours late for his podium presser, which probably means that the medicals didn't check out the way that they were hoping. And we waited for him, and we were the only people there because, like imagine you as an NFL athlete, you get the opportunity to go talk and nobody's there. So we were like, you know what? We don't want that to happen. And I tip my cap to Sam because we did that actually with multiple
I do
players.
wonder if Sam meant to go over there or if he saw that nobody was there and then went and maybe we can ask Sam if he's out there.
I mean, there were multiple players that our Chat Sports guys did that too. There was him, and then there was another running back that we did that too. And unfortunately, I can't remember his name. But, yeah, also, though, I asked Marsh, I go, Marsh, why wouldn't you just wait for him to come open? And he goes, well, dude, it was like 5 Mississippis. And, like, I also understand, like, if you're playing quarterback and you're in that situation, you got 5 Mississippis. Like, you got to get rid of it. You can't just hang on to the ball forever. But Billy got jammed at the line, to say the least. It was – credit D'Angelo Pons. Like, I love watching D'Angelo, the pick six, being able to talk to him, being able to meet him, chop it up for like 5 minutes. Like, again, it's not a lot of time, but it's more time than I thought I'd get.
Dude,
dude's a competitor.
That pick six.
Dude's a competitor.
That pick six to start the Oregon game.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I remember watching that game with my wife. She's a huge Indiana fan, and she was speechless. Like, jaw on the ground whenever he made that play. First play of the game, takes it to the house.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he said there was a question that was asked, like, what was your favorite play of your college career? And he was like, yeah, it's probably that pick six against Oregon.
Dude, pick six, college football playoff, pick six, first play of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever have a play unless he plays in a Super Bowl that matches that. Like, pick six, first play of the game in one of the most important games of the year.
Dude, I'm all in on D'Angelo Pons. I'm all in on D'Angelo Pons. James.
Third round?
I think he goes in the second.
Would you take him in the second?
I don't know if I would take him at 36. I would really need to see how our other free agency needs are filled.
Jack Kenna said it.
What? Pons reminds me of Amik Robertson. I've said that a bunch on this show. I would say if you could hit the upgrade button on Amik Robertson, and I truly mean the upgrade button, D'Angelo, I mean, it's just that fire, the energy. He's an unbelievable athlete. I mean, what's crazy about that Billy Beebe clip, dude just jumped a 43.5 vertical. Like, he's feeling himself because dude lit up the combine. Walking into wherever all the media members are, and then he just lines up against our guy and is like, let's run it. It was unbelievable, dude. And I get it. There's probably some people that saw that clip, his agent maybe, and was like, bro, be careful, you're going to get hurt, But to see that at the end of the day, he just wants to compete. No.
Could you imagine?
We literally talked about it.
Could you imagine if he would have, tweaked his ankle on that clip?
Nope. No. I don't think we would have posted it. If he would have got hurt, I don't even know if we would have posted it. Yeah, we probably still would have. James, don't hate me. Could you tell me the difference between the NFL salary cap of $301 million per team and the $80 million per team salary cap? Thanks, Mitch. I don't know what you're saying here.
Now, I do know there is a rule where a lot of teams have to spend a lot of money this season.
I know you have to spend a certain amount of money, but in terms of what you're asking here exactly, let me just try to go here to over the cap and see what you're asking me.
Also, Frankie, no, free agency not open yet. It starts on Monday. Monday is the first day of, NFL free agency.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, I don't know what you're asking here because I know right now the Raiders, according to Over the Cap, have $88 million in terms of cap space. Then there's what's known as your effective cap space, but then also you do have to spend a certain amount of money. So I'm just looking at players that did not get franchise tag. Kenneth Walker, Alec Pierce, Odafe Owe, Travis Etienne, Tyler Linderbaum, Trey Hendrickson, according to Adam Schefter. Sorry, James. Britton Best, what up? How was the Hondo interaction? There wasn't one. And again, I don't blame Hondo, but to me, I know Hondo doesn't like me. I've gotten that message very, very clear. Though the only time I thought I was going to get an interaction with him was when we first got there to the Fernando Mendoza podium. The only person that was there was the person that works for Hondo at SI. So Hondo, which I don't know, I can see why he did it, and also at the same time, I would never do it. Hondo made this guy wait in his place. So he made him wait in the front so that way Hondo could get the clips that he wanted. But Hondo wasn't going to wait in line. So, I don't remember.
So was he there for the presser?
He was there for the presser, but he showed up much later. And he made, again, I think the guy's name was Carter. And I had a really good time talking to him. But Carter was there in Hondo's place because Hondo didn't want to wait in that line. But then there was another person who put their camera stick there right in the front, and they weren't there. So when I got there, it was literally Carter, this person with this stick, and it was me. Now, that's when I took the photo of me holding up.
Did you just push the stick?
No, I wasn't going to push the stick, but at the same time, when I tell you I was shoulder to shoulder with that stick because he set up perfectly in the middle, I was like, I feel like you called, I don't know, shotgun, and you're not there to actually sit in the front seat. Or you're like, I want to be the first in line. Hold my spot. That's not how it works.
I got shotgun, and you just put your shoe in the front seat.
Literally. Literally. No, again, man, I'm not, I guess I've just said to myself, I can't convince everybody to like me, and I know that not everybody is going to like me. I think people that don't like me don't truly know who I am. And again, I'm not going to dislike somebody based off of sometimes interactions online because it is a very, very much different. Now, I did have an interaction with an NFL insider. Yeah, that was awful. It was a terrible, terrible interaction, and the rumors are true about that guy. But, at the end of the day, nice people are nice people. Good people show up. I'd rather much talk about Vinny. Because Vinny B was an absolute rock star. Him and I talked a bunch. He just showed me a much greater level of appreciation where, Hondo, and again, I don't blame Hondo for not liking me because I know this. We crush. We crush here on YouTube. And some people get jealous about it. It sucks, but it's the truth. All right, y'all, we're going to not only talk linebackers today, we're also going to talk about running backs. And I should also mention we got a few people that got in our duck race. Nicholas Potter, Rudy Mendez, 93 Nav, Jeremy Valve, L.A. Crash Dog are all in our duck race. So if you don't know, it's a $20 Venmo.
Now you know.
To win, as it stands right now, we got $50 goes to the winner. And then for our March Madness bracket, we got David Vergara in, Jeremy Valve in, L.A. Crash Dog, you in, newest member of Mount Raidermore, and then another member of Mount Raidermore, Yoda Jenkins, which means we only have 60 more spots to go.
Get them while I'm hot.
I'm telling y'all this right now. These spots will, we will be totally filled by next Friday. Because when I'll be live, like I said, 20, 30-ish hours next week for NFL free agency. We're going to get a bunch of people in. The reason why I wanted to put the March Madness deal on today's show is because the real ones are watching this show, right? I would much rather a real one. I would much rather somebody that watches this program all the time win $1,600. Where I'm not saying, and I get people who are busy. I totally, totally get it. But we're going to get a lot of other people that don't always watch the show next week. We're going to have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people watching this show at a time. So I just wanted to give the real ones a little bit of an opportunity to get it in first. I'm a little bit sick, y'all. So if I sound shitty, I do really apologize. Let's go to this question, and then I want to get into the very, very first segment that we have here on today's Raiders Report program. Do the Raiders need to sign a running back this offseason? You got Genty, you got Chris Collier, you got Dylan Laube. Zamir White and Raheem Mostert are both free agents. I know that Klint Kubiak talked about doing a 2 running back approach. That also could mean maybe you draft a running back a little bit higher. But I want to know from y'all, do you want the Raiders to sign a running back this offseason? Give me a yes. Give me a no. Chugs, what do you think, man?
I think, just in terms of protecting your investment in Ashton Genty, it would behoove the Raiders to sign another running back and have somebody who maybe you have as a specialty back, like a, bruising back that can also, get you short yardage if you need it, or a scat back or a back that is really good. I would say for the Raiders, a back that's really good in pass protection. So if you need to take Jinty out and put in that running back and he pass protects and then goes out for a route, something like that. I also think bigger than all of those, whoever you sign needs to be able to play special teams.
Yeah.
You need a running back who can also play special teams for you. That's why, I think he'll stay with Houston. I don't know. But a coach's favorite for the Houston Texans has been Dare Agumbawale.
Okay.
Because he is a pass blocking back, plays all of special teams, and as crazy as it sounds, he knows how to kick field goals. So if
Daniel Carlson, free agent.
Well, no, like we actually had a game where our kicker got injured. He hurt his hamstring. Dare came in and hit 2 for 2 field goals.
I mean, dude, that's big.
Having a guy who can do that for you in a pinch.
Steve-O, thank you.
But I would say yes, but you don't need to spend big money. Like, you can get a cheap running back to add to the depth.
I agree. A.J. Dillon, interesting name there.
I do like the Indiana running backs in round 6 or round 7.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the clip that I got of Roman Hemby, where I was talking to him, and I essentially asked Roman, I was like, what would it mean to you to be a running back 2 with Ashton Genty on the Raiders and Mendoza? And he was like, I would love the opportunity. He also said something like, not that he didn't say it was like, I'm not an idiot, but it was kind of along the lines of like, look, the Raiders are making an investment in Fernando Mendoza. The most important position is quarterback. So he was like, I've really taken it upon myself to learn how to catch and learn how to pass protect. And like those were 2 things that he was really, really working on this offseason. And I think he'd be a hell of a back to be able to pair with Genty if you're trying to look for somebody in the draft that you can get very, very late, probably in the 6th or 7th round. What up, John Mitch? I hope and pray that the Saints draft Love before Kansas City, or it's going to be a long season, just my opinion. I'm not going to focus on what other teams are going to do in the draft, and I only say that because the Raiders just need to focus on what they got going on. Don't get me wrong, I don't want Jeremiah Love to go to Kansas City, but based on some of the conversations that I had at the Combine, I would say Jeremiah Love or Travis Etienne is another very sneaky back to watch out for going to Kansas City. Like, they're looking for somebody that can catch the football. They're looking for somebody that can do a lot of different things. And I just think about the one person that I talked to, the one name that he brought up to me over and over was apparently Kansas City wants to find, like, another Jerick McKinnon, where, somebody that they can rely on to be a good pass protector, that they can rely on to catch the football, and if they need to use them between the tackles, they can from time to time. The one thing that Kansas City's offense has definitely been missing, though, is that ability to run the football effectively, because it also takes a lot of pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. And I think Kansas City has just done we have Mahomes, we'll figure it out. It doesn't matter what our receivers look like. This doesn't matter. We're going to be good enough to, kind of pick it together a little bit. And this past season, they got beat up, and they kind of got their shit pushed in a little bit. It's one of the reasons why they're drafting where they are. But I hear you, man. I hear you.
I as well do not want Kansas City to get Jeremiah Love. That's why I actually, in talking about, trading up for him, the only option is to trade up to 8. Because I think if Love is on the board at 9, he's a Chief.
I agree.
It makes too much sense.
I agree.
For Kansas City to go out there and get a premier running back to take the load off of Patrick Mahomes.
Isaiah Pacheco's a free agent, so
maybe that would be a good pairing with Ashton Genty.
The only reason why I'm scared about Pacheco, he's blind. Like, he has no vision. So he's got no patience, he's got no vision, and a lot of times, like in a zone blocking scheme, you want a back that's got those 2 things, and he just doesn't have them. Yeah. Like, the way Isaiah Pacheco runs is the way that I run on Madden. As soon as I get the ball, it's turbo, go straight. Like, it's like that's what Pacheco does. But J.K. Dobbins, you'll hear me talk about J.K. Dobbins here a little bit. So I want to go through. We got a few more supers. I think we got one more.
Yes.
And then I want to get into the next segment here on today's show. I should let it be known, Amy is in March Madness. Arbora is in March Madness. And then Yoda Jenkins. All All right, I got you. I don't think I did a good job on it. But,
Also,
Ron Raspberry. Somebody has just paid for your donation to get in our March Madness bracket. So, Ron Raspberry, you're in.
nice.
Sorry. It says, please keep this anonymous. I kind of effed it up, but Ron Raspberry, you're in March Madness. If anybody out there wants to sponsor somebody else to get in, please, please, please make sure you do so. Before we get in to the top linebacker free agent targets here for Rob Leonard and this Raiders defensive staff, if you guys need something for St. Patty's Day, let's just get right to the point, right? Like, imagine you're on a first date with a girl or a guy. I don't know. You're on that first date. This is literally like, this is me telling you exactly what I want. Because what I want on St. Patty's Day is beers. I don't want one beer. I don't want just 2 beers. I want plenty of green beers. And I'm going to have some green beers on St. Patty's Day. And if anybody out there needs to get their hands on our beers hat, go to chatsports.com/LVGreen. It is going to be available all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. But does anybody want my Raiders Report hat?
Actually, that just takes you to the T-shirt. I'll go to the Raiders Report shop. I'm putting the link to that down in the comment section right now. That will take you to where you can get everything that we have, and that's where the Beers T-shirt or Beers hats are.
Yeah, so you can actually get the Beers hat there. You can also, though, dude, do you see? So go to the chatsports.com/RR shop and hover over the Raiders Report hat. Do you know what that is? How did they do that? You don't have to buy one, but everybody here needs to go to that link, and everybody needs to.
You didn't see that?
I briefly did. Again, last week was kind of a blur. You guys can get, if you want the official Raiders Report hat, it's on there, $25 if you'd like to get it. Hover over it, though. It's unbelievable. I don't know who did that. All right, is that actually you or is that AI? That's what I want to know. That's unbelievable. Can you put vodka on a hat from Darren? Probably. I could probably do beers, gin, whiskey.
Grade the Beers hat, A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know. Would you rock this Beers hat? And if you want to see AI Jeremy, go to the link that I put in there and go check out the Raiders Report hat.
Unbelievable.
Let me know. Would you rock the Beers hat? Give me a yes, give me a no. It's okay.
Again, we're just trying to figure out what you guys are thinking. Just trying to think what you guys are thinking.
Beers.
Beers.
I had 1 beer. Yeah. 2 beers. Yeah. 3 beers. Yeah.
I hear you. All right, let's go to Steezy J. What you think about Rodriguez? Jacob Rodriguez? He was actually in my latest mock draft that I did. I put it out this morning. But to me, I was extremely impressed by Jacob Rodriguez. I did not think he was going to test nearly as well as what he did. I don't know where he's going to go. He's probably going to be a day 2 pick, probably going to be somewhere in that. I would say he's probably going to be somewhere in that like 40 to 70 range of where he could go. But super happy for him because when he's like playing, you could tell he's just always around the football. He's flying around the field. And I think the biggest knock on him was like, oh, he's just not athletic enough. He tested much, much better than I think anybody anticipated. So very, very happy. And I like Jacob Rodriguez. I think it'd be a hell of a fit in our Raiders defense because we do need to have some of those middle linebackers, weak side linebackers, be able to fill that 3-4. Because if you're building that defense, you need a middle, you need a weak side, then you need your 2 outside linebackers. Jacob Rodriguez, because he's clearly got it up here, I think could be a really interesting young green dot that you insert into your lineup right away. So, yes, I'm a Jacob Rodriguez fan and a believer, no doubt. James, Google says the $90 million from Spotrac is the amount of the $301 million left to spend once existing contracts are paid. Thanks for all you do, Mitch. James, thank you for taking it upon yourself to go to Google and ask the questions. Again, I feel like my Raiders bag is deep, but I don't think anybody's got a knowledge bag as deep as Google. So we do need to spend some money. I know that, but we also have a lot of money that we're able to spend in free agency, which is why I can't wait for next week. And if anybody plans on hanging out with me next week, let me know down below if you're going to plan on watching us live. Because, again, I'm going to be live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday here on the Raiders Report. So, yo, let's go. Coming up here on the show, let's get into some of these free agent linebacker targets that I think that the Raiders could look at. And then the next show that we're going to get into is the free agent running back targets for the Silver and Black. And, you know, I'm always going to do my best here to give you guys my God-honest opinion. I got a top 10 list here. I got a top 10 list here. I'll kind of walk you through why I have certain guys ranked the way that I do. If you don't know, $20 Venmo duck race. And if you want to get in our March Madness tournament, winner's going to go home with $1,600. It's a $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, which right now as it stands, we got 5 people. Actually, that's a lie. 7 people in March Madness. 5 people in the duck race. Right now, winner would go home with $50 here on the program. So, Rob Leonard, new defense. Let me get a sip of water here, and I do apologize again for being sick. One of my biggest pet peeves is listening to somebody like like that, and I know I've been doing that a lot today.
Somebody's asking for the March Madness rules. Basically what it is it's a huge tournament that is all duck races, and it's win or go home.
Yep.
So it's 64 people put into a bracket.
Correct.
And if you lose, you're out. If you win, you advance to the next round until we have 2 people at the very end, 1 duck race for $1,600.
Unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. I think it's also just a cool way for viewers to be part of the duck race.
Didn't Zahn win one time? Or the
Zahn
first one?
Zahn won 2 years ago, and that was the first time we did it. I'm trying to think who won last year. I mean, I'd have to go back and check it out. I don't remember who won last year, sadly.
I think it was like an 8 or 9 seed.
I do think it was a deep seed. I do think it was a deeper seed.
A deep seed.
I think Navman made it pretty far, though.
Yeah.
I think if my memory, I think
Navman
Yoda
said,
also.
yeah, Navman said I was in the final and lost.
Nav, do you remember who you lost to? Raffle says always a first-round exit. Rev, you got to get in, dude. You got to get in. You got to get in. It's I don't know. I'll say this. I personally love it. I think it's cool to just see how the brackets go. And, when we're live for free agency a lot of those days, there's some college basketball games that are happening. So, Navman said Anthony Green won last year. Really? I feel like I would have remembered that. The Green. I'll double check. I mean, if Anthony Green is confirmed the winner, I'll just put Anthony in. I feel like if you won, you got to be able to defend your title. But then again, you got to get in. No, you got to get in. You got to buy in. Got to buy in. All right, we got a super chat. We'll get to that right after this segment. So coming up here on the Raiders Report, some linebacker targets. Also, it is going to be GLD. Sound good? All right, let's see if I can power through this. In the middle, we talk about the GLD. You ready? Y'all ready? Let's talk about some of these linebacker free agent targets for the Silver and Black. Raiders free agent targets at the linebacker position. My name is Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and our new defensive coordinator, Rob Leonard, is going to be going with a 3-4 defensive front. So it's going to be important for the Silver and Black to add some outside linebackers, and edges in general. So what I've done today, I have ranked the top 10 linebackers that Klint Kubiak, John Spytek, Rob Leonard, and this Raiders organization should target once free agency begins. If you do not know when free agency begins, Monday, March 9th at noon Eastern is what's known as the legal tampering period, where you can talk to players, you can talk to agents, and this is when a lot of deals will get done. And then when the new league year starts, Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern, those deals will be officially official. According to Over the Cap and according to Spotrac, the Raiders do have top 4 money and salary cap to spend. I personally look at Over the Cap a little bit more just based on the way that their contracts kind of go down. So I look at this saying the Raiders have top 2 money, and they better be aggressive this offseason. Because when I asked John Spytek at the Combine, what's your biggest need? He laughed at me, and then I go offense and defense. And he kind of laughed at me again. We got a lot of holes. We got a lot of holes that need to be filled. And I want y'all to hit that subscribe button, and I hope that you tune in for the best free agency coverage on the planet. We're going to be live probably 20, 25, 30 hours next week on this show. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is a little bit up in the air just based on our schedule, but we're going to be giving away prizes. We're going to be giving away money all week long. So if you're a Raiders fan and you love this show and you want to know what's going on around the NFL and free agency, I promise you this, we're going to be your one-stop shop. We're going to work our way from 10 all the way down to 1. And just because a player is ranked higher than another doesn't mean that I like that guy more or less. What also we have to factor into this equation is fit in a 3-4 defense. Also, the overall price tag of that player. Let's first talk about Alex Anzalone, linebacker, played for Detroit last season. He is 31 years old. I'm going to try to talk about some ages, and that's one of the reasons why Anzalone is up here at number 10 is because he's 31. If he was 28, 27, I would have ranked him a lot higher. 95 tackles last season for the Detroit Lions, and honestly, I think he's been a big anchor on that Lions defense since he's arrived in Detroit in 2021 because he's played over 1,000 snaps in 3 of the last 4 seasons. A great leader. Maybe better hair, and I do think would really help out our new linebacker group from top to bottom. I usually give you guys Spotrac market value. I hope that you don't mind. I just decided to switch it up here a little bit for this video, and his PFF projected contract, 2 years, $15 million, so $7.5 million a year for Anzalone. His PFF grade last season was a 67.5 overall, and as you can see, and I do think the tape kind of aligns with this, he's just a really good, consistent linebacker, that can do a bunch of different things, and he wears that C on his chest, which you know for a fact this organization does really like. Over the last 4 years, though, in Detroit, the 2024 season was the season that he did not play in over those 1,000 snaps, but the Detroit Lions have been a FU style of football team, and if you're the silver and black and you have the amount of free agents that we do at that linebacker position, I think if you bring in a leader like Alex Anzalone, it would make a lot of sense. Let's go to number 9 here. I'm going to go Quay Walker, and I actually was surprised how low I ranked Quay on my own show, but that's just because of how highly I've talked about Walker on some previous programs. The reason why I'm ranking Quay a little bit lower now is because, 1, of the price tag, and 2, he really hasn't lived up to the bill. I get it, young player, 25 years old, former, I believe he was a first-round pick out of Georgia. Oh, no, he was part of the Devontae trade. I was going to say, the Raiders, when they traded, it was what? He was Christian Watson and Quay Walker were for Devontae Adams. I was like, yeah, Quay Walker. But 128 tackles last season. I would say this. When I watched the Quay Walker tape, it reminded me a lot more of Devin White than what I'm actually happy about. Like, you know, I saw the tackles, and I don't follow the Green Bay Packers as closely as I do the Raiders, but 58 games played under his belt. Tackling machine. Very, very good against the run. But he is not good in coverage. That PFF projected contract, though, like, if you're a team that believes in your ability to be able to build linebackers, go invest in Quay Walker. If you don't believe in your linebacking coach and you don't believe in your ability to go out and get those guys, maybe not the best option. Now, he is coming off a 48.5 overall grade. Solid against the run. Again, not the best numbers from a Green Bay standpoint, but when you look at the numbers overall, you're going to see a lot of tackles. And he is an interesting player to be able to put in the middle of a defense. Now, I would look at this and go, well, he's about to be 26, 27, 28. Can he learn? And if he is able to learn, his upside, without a doubt, is up there. But I was a lot higher on Quay Walker, and then I went back to the drawing board. I talked to some of the guys that cover the team, and he is number 9 on my list. Let's go to number 8 here on my Raiders free agent linebacker targets, K'Lavon Chaisson. I also tried to just illustrate linebacker to outside linebacker. Alex Anzalone and Quay Walker, they would play the middle linebacker, weak side linebacker role for the Raiders. K'Lavon Chaisson, obviously, would be an edge/outside linebacker. 26 years old. Loved what he was able to do with the Raiders in 2024. Also, did a really solid job in New England this past season. But when I think of a Rob Leonard outside linebacker, long, lengthy, hell of an athlete, K'Lavon Chaisson is absolutely a player that should come to mind. Now, that PFF projected contract, 3 years, $45 million, I'm not going to lie to you, that's a little bit too rich for my blood. I would hope that the Raiders could get him on a little bit of a cheaper contract than that. 12.5 sacks the past 2 seasons. But if I was K'Lavon, I would want to play with Rob Leonard again. Because I think Rob Leonard really helped jumpstart his career and help make him, not make him, but give him the confidence that he needed, because when he was coming out of LSU, when he went to Jacksonville, he was just kind of pushed aside and not nearly the player that what you've seen over the past 2 seasons in New England, in Las Vegas. So if I'm K-Levon, I would want to go play with Rob Leonard again. And if the Silver and Black did end up spending that $15 million per year on him, I would hope it would be like a 2-year, the 3rd year, 0 guaranteed. But then also, you know, you kind of have to trust this new regime, and you kind of have to trust Rob Leonard to go out and get exactly what he wants. And he did have a lot of success with K-Levon Chasen before when he was the defensive line coach. So let me know down below. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. If the Raiders can sign only one linebacker in free agency, who should it be? My answer is going to be at the very, very end of the show. So you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, please scroll on down and give me your answer. I got a top middle linebacker, and I got a top outside linebacker. They're going to be ranked at 1 and 2 on this video. Let's go to number 7 here. And if there's one guy, when I got done doing this video, again, I script all my stuff. Chugs, Reed, all the guys here at Chat Sports, they help me build it. They do a lot of the building. But the one player that I was kind of kicking myself in the butt, like, maybe I should have ranked him a little bit higher, Devin Bush. Played with the Cleveland Browns last season. I love this kid when he was first coming out of Michigan. He is a little bit undersized, 5'11", 235, 27 years old. But the last 2 seasons in Cleveland, I think he's done a hell of a job really showing people what a lot of people expected him to be when he was first coming out of Michigan. And you know that Spytek and Brady love products of Michigan. And I also love his sideline-to-sideline speed. He had a career year in 2025. He was great in 2024 also. The projected contract of 3 years, $36 million, I am more than okay with, because he is coming off of an absolutely bananas type of season. 87.6 overall PFF grade. He was great against the run. He's good against the pass. He can drop back into coverage. Now, I do wonder, and I am a little bit concerned, like, was Devin Bush really good because he was just in a stacked defense in Cleveland? That question did go through my mind multiple times. But then also, you don't put up the type of production that Devin Bush did last season. Again, a lot of tackles flying around the football field. 2 sacks, good. The 8 PBUs, the 3 interceptions, the 2 touchdowns. Devin Bush at 27, sometimes it just clicks a little bit later for guys. And for a guy like Devin at 27, like, I look at that and I go, dude, he's about to hit his prime. This could be one of those players at the end of this offseason. We look back and go, man, Devin Bush was a hell of a discounted price. Or, man, we really overpaid him after 2 really good seasons in Cleveland. Interesting prospect, but I do think the Raiders are going to show a little bit of interest in him. Coming up next here on the show, we got our top 6 linebacker free agent targets for Rob Leonard and this brand new defensive snap. Sorry, I got the sniffles. You know what else I got? An awesome GLD chain, and if you want to take advantage of this deal, 50% off. Yep, you heard it right. Every guy has those go-to pieces, right? The shoes that go with everything. I was rocking certain shoes when I went to the NFL Combine. The pair of jeans that fit just right. The T-shirt that always looks oh so clean, and no matter what you pair it with, you don't overthink those pieces. You can grab them, and they work every time. That's how I feel about GLD. Whether I want to rock the chain here on the Raiders Report, I want you all to know I rock with Raider Nation, and I rep this thing every day. Also, though, when I do date night with my wife, she loves y'all. She doesn't want me to wear the Raiders shield. I take the shield off, and I get to rock a sick gold chain. But they got everything, though, from chains, pennants, bracelets, nice selection of watches. Whether you want to keep it simple or if you want a little bit of shine, they got you covered. 50,000 5-star reviews. That's a lot of reviews. GLD can even create fully custom pieces from a one-of-a-kind pennant, iced out chains designed exactly how you want them. I've actually been tinkering around a little bit on GLD. I'm trying to get Chugs a chain. I want to get like just a big old Chugs chain. I like a turnover chain. I'm into it. I think it'd be pretty sick. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHAT. That's CHAT. If you don't know how to spell chat, I don't know how long you've watched Chat Sports programs. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After you purchase, they're going to ask where you heard about them. Please tell them Mitchell Renz from the Raiders Report. That way, I can keep on hooking up the nation with some of these awesome deals. Let's go to number 6 here on my free agent linebacker targets, Leo Chenal. And what's always cool about doing this show, I can remember a few years ago when I really, really wanted the Raiders to go out and get Leo Chenal, and then he ended up freaking going to the Chiefs. I was heartbroken. What I like about this guy, young player, very coachable. Anytime you hear any of his coaches from Kansas City talk about him, they speak of words of leadership. They speak of words of just a guy that absolutely, positively loves football. Young, versatile. Not only can he do everything, he wants to try to do everything. My only kind of knock on him is he's never played more than 600 snaps in a season. 65 games played, 44 games started. But at 2 years, $12 million, $6 million per year, Leo Chenal is an outstanding piece that's got AFC West experience, which you know for a fact matters to Mark Davis. 72.6 coverage grade, which I like a lot from PFF. And then when you look at his numbers over the past 4 seasons, this is a guy that's on the field a lot. 17 games played, 2024 to 2022. Only 14 games played last season, but I also think that's the Chiefs were shutting down certain players from time to time. Leo Chenal, great middle linebacker, weak side linebacker prospect for the Silver and Black. Let's go to number 5 here on my list. I'm going to go with Jaelan Phillips. Now, again, edge, outside linebacker, 3-4 now. That's the type of players that we're going to be looking at. And Phillips was always a dude that I loved coming out of Miami. And I remember covering his story when I first started doing this whole thing because he actually went to UCLA, contemplated retirement because he had just all these injuries, and then he went to Miami for a year and ended up just blowing it up. Now, 53 tackles, 14 tackles for loss. This is a player that you put him on the outside, and he is going to thrive. If I could turn Madden injuries off, Jaelan Phillips would be a top 3 player on this show. Unfortunately, I can't turn injuries off, and it's the biggest thing that has hampered this 26-year-old because when he's healthy, dude, everybody knows he's special. But when you've seen the amount of injuries that Jaelan Phillips has had to deal with over the course of his career, I mean, he's had Achilles. He's just been very, very much so injury prone. But Rob Leonard was the Miami Dolphins outside linebacker coach in 2021 when Jaelan Phillips was a first-round pick, when Jaelan Phillips had a career-high 8.5 sacks. Now, the PFF projected contract is 1 year, $15 million. I love the idea, and the reason why I say this, I love the idea, is last year the Raiders, they had a swing and a miss on a 1-year contract with Malcolm Kuntz. And I hear you. Some people might be a little bit nervous about it. I'll say this right now. If the Raiders wanted to do a 1-year prove-it deal with Jaelan Phillips at that $15 million price tag, I would be more than on board with it because I do think he's a good player. And he is a really good fit in this defense. And he has the connection to Rob Leonard. And he also did a hell of a job last season in Philadelphia because he played 819 snaps. I did not expect Phillips to really get his career back on track as quickly as he did because in 2024 and 2023, he did. He missed a lot of time with multitude of different injuries. I believe he popped an Achilles in 2024, and I forget what his other lower body injury was in 2023. But if you're looking for talent and you're looking for upside, I think Jaelan Phillips is absolutely a player to consider. Let's go to number 4 here on my list. It's going to be Nakobe Dean. And Nakobe, when I got done doing this show, I had a hard time debating where I wanted to put Nakobe Dean and where I wanted to put Devin Bush. I even thought about flipping them a few times. But, that's how close some of these rankings are. If you look at me and you tell me I'm going to get 17 games with Nakobe Dean, I'm going to leave him at number 4, and I don't think twice about it. 55 tackles last season for the Birds, 7 tackles for loss, a great sideline-to-sideline linebacker, though he did miss 7 games. When he was healthy, he was one of the best defenders that Philadelphia Eagles team had. He also can give you a little bit of extra pressure as a linebacker who, again, is going to play the middle of that defense, but you can also line him up on the outside. 26 pressures the past 2 seasons with 7 sacks. That projected contract is a little bit too rich for my blood, but then again, the reason why I would give him that type of money is because of what he did in 2024. I showed you guys a lot of 2025 numbers, but for Nakobe Dean, I really, really wanted to show y'all 2024 because I thought this was his best year, and this was the tape that you should turn on and want the Raiders to go out and get this guy. And the 128 tackles, solid. 9 tackles for loss, you got to love it. But if you're going to invest that amount of money in a linebacker, $13 million plus, he needs to be able to tackle. He needs to be able to cover. He needs to be a good leader. And when you come from that Georgia background, you are known as being a good leader because Georgia wants guys that are leaders. Georgia wants guys that can tackle, and Georgia wants guys that fly around the football. And that's exactly what Nakobe Dean does. Now, if you agree with me that you think linebacker is a major need this offseason for the Silver and Black, I hope that you hit that like button right now. We got a lot of money to spend. Brand new 3-4 defense. I mean, the Raiders are 100% interested and looking at the linebacker position. That's why there's so many rumors right now around Tremaine Edmonds that I've discussed on this show. The graphic that I'm about to show y'all, it's kind of wild, and it's going to look wild because I did want to illustrate what a 3-4 defense could look like for the Raiders at the linebacker position. It was difficult because the linebackers that we have aren't built to play a 3-4. So I just tried to show y'all, bigger point was Jamal Adams, Alandon Roberts, Devin White, and Malcolm Kuntz. I think if the Raiders played a game today, this is how they would try to line up with some of these linebackers. Now, maybe they would put Jamal Adams as the weak side guy with Alandon, and then, I don't know, maybe add a guy like Charles Snowden as your outside linebacker. The bigger point is we got needs, and we got a lot of needs at that linebacker spot. Let's go to number 3 here on the list, and it's going to be Boye Mafe. I like Boye Mafe a lot, and the only reason why that I rank Boye higher than Jalen Phillips is because I think that you can count on Boye to stay healthier better than Jalen and better than somebody like Nakobe Dean. But at 27 years old, coming off a Super Bowl run with Seattle, I think that type of player is going to be able to buy into what Klint Kubiak is selling a little bit easier. And I loved being able to watch him in college, a lot of Big Ten football. This guy's a freak athlete. He's one of the best athletes in the NFL. And anytime I've learned freak athlete, edge position, Rob Leonard, that math usually works out in the way that I like it to. He's also had a lot of consistent pressure, 146 pressures the past 3 seasons, 17 sacks. Yes, that projected contract at 3 years, $49 million, but 16.3 for a guy that can consistently get after the QB is extremely important. 559 snaps last season, an overall 69.2 PFF grade. I like what Boye brings to the table, but some people might not love the lower sack production that he had last season. I would encourage you to look at what he did in 2024 and in 2023. And I had the opportunity to talk to Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald at the NFL Combine, and I kind of picked his brain a little bit about what he thought of Rob Leonard, the 3-4 defense. The one thing that I really came from that was Mike McDonald was going to use his players the way that he felt was best for his team overall, and I think it's really hard to argue with the results. So, earlier on this show, I asked y'all, who are the top linebackers that you want the Raiders to sign? If you're looking for a middle, weak side linebacker to put in the middle of that defense, slap a green dot on the back of their head, his name's Devin Lloyd. And it actually was really difficult for me to not put Lloyd at number 1. The only reason why I have Devin Lloyd at number 2 and not at number 1, it's because I think edge, outside linebacker, is a more important role in the NFL than putting a linebacker in the middle. But Devin Lloyd is, without a doubt, the top linebacker prospect in this year's free agency class, and I don't really think it's all that close. 27 years old, 74 tackles, 10 QB hits, 7 PBUs. From a linebacker standpoint, that's bananas. And the name I'm going to throw out here, it's going to scare you, right? I really wanted the Raiders to go out and get Corey Littleton. Obviously, that was just a really, really bad signing. I look at Devin Lloyd and I go, it kind of reminds me of a player like that because he can stop the run, he can drop back into coverage, he can get after the quarterback, and in his last 4 seasons, 63 games played, 61 starts. 3 year, $48 million is a lot for a linebacker, but at 27, 28 years old, Devin Lloyd's about to hit the peak of his career, and if he does what he did last season, 3 years, $48 million, it's going to feel like a steal. The 89.1 overall PFF grade, I have not seen too many players grade above an 80 in run defense, pass rush, and coverage, and Devin Lloyd is absolutely positively deserving of that. I mean, tell me the last time you saw a linebacker get 5 interceptions in a season. Like, people were picking on him, and teams would try to put tight ends. Teams would try to put running backs. Teams were trying to put, different players on Lloyd. And I got to give a lot of credit to Liam Cohen and that defensive staff because they did a great job of putting Lloyd in positions to succeed that really matched. Oh, dude, yeah, I mean, these numbers are disgusting. Like, you don't have, like, people can grades all they want. when the tape matches the stats and it matches the grades and it just kind of all comes into fruition, you should get really excited. And if you get a notification that says the Las Vegas Raiders have signed Devin Lloyd, you should get really, really excited. Let's go to number 1 here. Odafe Oweh. I think he is the top linebacker, edge, outside linebacker prospect that the Raiders should get. Do I think Odafe Oweh is a better player than Devin Lloyd? I do not. Do I think edge is a more important position than linebacker? Yes, I do. Do I think the Raiders need to do a better job at being able to get after the quarterback? Yes, without a doubt. That's why Odafe Oweh is the top player, the top linebacker that I want Rob Leonard and this defense to go out and get. 38 tackles last season. 9 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits. I am a Penn Stater. I remember watching Odafe with the Nittany Lions, and I loved him. The other reason, though, that I think that this deal could end up going down, it's the connection. Rob Leonard was the outside linebacker coach in Baltimore in 2022 when Odafe Oweh was there. The past 2 seasons, 17.5 sacks. I think the way that the Chargers used him is the better way compared to the way that Baltimore used him. But 4 years, $77 million at $19.3 million. If the Raiders were to move on from Crosby, obviously that would sting a little bit. But the Raiders, I do believe, are going to move on from Malcolm Kuntz. He's going to be a free agent. I want the Raiders to invest some money in getting after the quarterback. I think a great upgrade at that edge position is going out and getting Oweh, who had a 78.0 pass rush PFF grade, only 513 snaps. But when you're looking at consistency, I think that that's something that Odafe has done a good job with because he is a outstanding athlete. And I'll keep saying it, outstanding athlete plus Rob Leonard usually results in really, really good numbers. And that's what I'm going to buy into. I'm going to buy into a player that's had 17 and a half sacks the past 2 seasons. A young guy that's got connections to Rob Leonard. A young player that's got AFC West experience. All those reasons are why Odafe Oweh is the number 1 linebacker free agent target that I want the Raiders to go out and get. Now, if you made it this far in this video, don't be afraid to take a screenshot. You can tag me on IG, tag me on Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. And also, don't be afraid to tell me where you agree with me and where you disagree with me. Because at the end of the day, this is why I do this show. For Raider Nation, to hear your guys' thoughts. If the Raiders do plan on investing, though, in that 3-4 defense, Odafe Oweh, Devin Lloyd is all I ask from this organization. And if you guys don't already know, make sure you click that subscribe button. Again, if you're already watching here, you're the definition of a real one, and I'm going to be live for all the real ones next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You might even be able to convince me to go live on Friday as well. If you're looking for the best Raiders free agency coverage on planet Earth, I promise you, the Raiders Report will provide. Bayou Raider! Bang! Bayou! Bayou.
Nation, shout out to Mitch and team at Chat Sports for the Combine reporting. I just got out of a meeting with the Veteran Affairs Committee to get some Save a Warrior support. Shout out to Gunny, Nav, and all the veterans. Much love to the nation.
Oh, dude, that's freaking sick, man.
And speaking of Gunny,
first off, Bayou, shout out to you, man. Really greatly appreciate it. And then also throwing it down. L.A. Crash Dog!
bang!
Wi-Fi on the plane sucks. Don't yell bang on a plane. I learned that the hard way. But I wanted to say what's up to my Raider Nation family on the way to my daughter's wedding. Oh, dude, that is freaking sick, man. You have everything like you're going to say? Like, I think outside of, obviously, my own wedding was amazing. I think the next time I'm going to be that excited for another wedding will be my daughter, I guess my son's wedding. SaveAWarrior.org for veterans and first responders struggling Semper Fi. If you don't know, go to SaveAWarrior.org/donate. And if you do, make sure that you tell them that Father Tom sent you. Bayou, I'm going to tip my cap to you, man. Obviously, you and I had a conversation last week when I was at the Combine. Very, very awesome that, we've been able to link up, that we've been able to, get to know each other a little bit better. I know that you support me, but you also support a lot of other people that watch this show, and I think LA Crash Dog saw that support, saw the love, and at the end of the day, man, we're a big old happy family. I really want people to feel like when you watch this show that you're a part of a family because, I think at the end of the day, people just want to be a part of something. And I'm very, very happy of the community that we've been able to build here. So shout out to my guy, Bayou Raider.
Go to SaveAWarrior.org.
And shout out to my guy, LA Crash Dog, who right now are in the lead for our March Bang competition. Gunny, salute to you, Bayou. Salute to you, my guy.
Also, we did have a couple people say that they sent in Venmos for the March Madness as well.
All right, I will double check. If you don't know, if you want to get in for a chance to win $1,600, Venmo me at Mitchell Renz 365, $50 to get in. If you want to get in our duck race today, $20 Venmo, and we will do the duck race today. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to look. I see Husker Raider, you in, which Husker? Love it. Also, Husker got in the duck race. I see Safet is in the duck race. Soldier Man, duck race. Raider Ron, duck race. So that means 20 to win. As it stands right now, $90. For March Madness, Raider Ron in. I see LCA in. We got Moshav getting in on March Madness. The Night Devil, I gotcha, which, hang on here, I don't know what this is. I gotcha. So the Night Devil, he's got, as it stands, so right now we got 12 people already in March Madness. So 64 minus 12, that's how many more people we are allowed to get in. And then I see Fabian Moreno just got a bunch of ducks. So as it stands right now, $20 Venmo to win, $140 here on today's program. But also, we already have 12 people in our Raiders Report March Madness bracket. Winner gets $1,600. If you want in, $50 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365.
We almost have a full region.
Bro, we do almost have a full region. I typically do like the seedings based on like if you're like Raider Ron, he's gonna be a number 1 seed. Hate to burst your bubble. Unless Ron was like, make me like a Cinderella. Ron, if you want to be a Cinderella story, you can.
Knowing Ron, I don't know if he would ever say the term "make me a Cinderella."
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're 100% right. Steezy J, I think we already got to that one.
We did. Okay. This one.
Got that one as well. Jersey Boy, franchise tag or new contract for Stokes. So the franchise tag window is already passed. And the Raiders were not going to franchise tag any players. Like, if they would have tagged Stokes, I don't remember the exact amount of money it would have been, but it probably would have been double the amount that he would have gotten. In terms of a new contract, one of the bits that I did get from the Combine was that the Raiders and Stokes are having conversations right now, and there is mutual interest. Like, the Raiders want to figure out a way to bring back Stokes. Stokes also wants to find a way to come back and play with the Raiders. I did have somebody tell me that Stokes really appreciated the Raiders taking a chance on him and that, like, he wants to be able to show up and show out yet again. I don't know if he wants cornerback 1 money, and that's going to be the big, I think, factor of whether or not he comes back. Because if he wants cornerback 1 money, I mean, that's like 13, 14, 15 mil for the Raiders and for Stokes' talent. Where I want Stokes is probably closer to like 9, 10 million per year.
Yeah.
So it's like that's going to be the big determining factor. Johnny, what up, man? Do you think we will go after a number 1 wide receiver? It's definitely going to be something I look at because when I asked Spytek about, what he thought about receivers, or not me, I didn't ask him, but when we were at the podium, somebody asked him about receivers. And I remember Spytek was like, yeah, true number 1s, like they don't grow on trees. They're not easy to be able to find. So if the Raiders do go with somebody very early in the draft, I do wonder, do they view him as a number 1? And then at the same time, I actually think there's only one number 1 wide receiver that the Raiders can get this offseason, and his name's Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, to me, is the only guy. I'm not saying you can't draft some other number 1s, but the only way you're going to draft, I would say, a true number 1 for this offense is if you trade back up into the first round. I just think that this team has too many holes, / maybe somebody falls to 36, but I don't anticipate the Raiders going wide receiver at 36. Again, we'll see what happens in free agency, But if you want the Raiders to go after a number 1 receiver, his name is Alec Pierce. Let's go to Shift. What up, Shift? What up, my guy? Hope you're having... I'm not going to lie. I read, hope you're... I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be having a blessed day, but you spaced those words out. You almost made me say something. What are your thoughts on Alex Anzalone pair with Devin Bush possibly? So yeah, I talked about Alex Anzalone and I talked about Devin Bush obviously on on the last show that I just did about my top free agent targets. I actually think it's a really interesting way to pair both of those guys because you bring in a 31-year-old Anzalone, you bring in a 27-year-old Devin Bush. Anzalone's your leader. He's probably going to be your captain, green dot. Devin Bush, you let him fly around sideline to sideline. But because you go that route, you're not breaking the bank on any of these other linebackers. Then you could probably get an Odafe Owe. You could probably get a Jalen Phillips. You'd be able to invest a little bit more money on your outside linebackers. So I actually like that pairing. I think that pairing makes a lot of sense financially, and it makes a lot of sense for what our team needs are. Caesar, what up, dude? Trade Max, sign Chasen, and Hendrickson. We need draft capital. See, like, I don't really understand the idea of trading Max and going out and getting Trey Hendrickson. Like, Hendrickson's 31, going to be 32 years old. He's an older Max Crosby. Like, if you're moving on from Max, I think we as an organization and we as fans also have to understand the direction that this team's going in, right? Like, I think Caleb Bond makes sense, 26 years old. But, you know, I don't know if I would want them to sign Trey Hendrickson and trade Max. Like, that logic to me doesn't make any sense. If you're going to trade away Max Crosby, use one of those first-round picks, and maybe you can get another edge in the draft because, like, that's got to be the thought process where, you know, you need somebody that can build with the Raiders for the long haul. Getting Trey Hendrickson, he helps you win right now, but trading away Max is not a win-now type of move. So I'm not for or against the Max deal at this point. If Max wants to be a Raider, you know, I think he'll be a Raider. If Max doesn't want to be a Raider, then he'll get traded. But I don't see the Raiders trading Max Crosby unless Max wants to be dealt. What up, LA? I am also officiating her wedding. Big day on Thursday. I mean, I can only speak on my behalf, my wedding. Alex's dad also officiated our wedding, and it was probably one of the coolest things. It was probably one of the coolest things, man. I know it meant a lot to Alex. Also, a lot of our wedding pictures, you know, have her dad in the mix there. And it's not like a high-pressure situation, but, you know, like, there's added pressure. And I don't want to be that guy, but, like, I think because I do what I do for work, I don't really get stage fright. I don't really get scared of talking in front of people. And Alex is a talker. Like, Alex loves to talk. She loves the spotlight, no doubt about it. But, like, there is that sense of ease when you're there with, like, somebody that you know. And I guarantee you this, you being next to your daughter will 100% calm her nerves and probably the biggest thing that she's ever done in her life. So really, really happy for you. Really, really happy for your family. Really happy for your daughter. I mean, that's an unbelievable experience. Probably going to be on your Mount Rushmore of experiences that you have in your life. Congrats to you, dude. That's awesome. LA, thank you, Bayou. Appreciate you, my brother. Real Cowboy. How about signing Logan Wilson on a vet minimum deal? I mean, I remember talking to Tom about Logan Wilson this past season on Dallas. I mean, you get me at vet minimum, I'm going to be interested. But also at the same time, Logan Wilson was released, and he cleared waivers, correct? I believe it happened.
No, he was traded for a 7th-round pick.
Traded for a 7th? I'd have to go back and look at Logan Wilson a little bit more. I would say this. If we came out with Logan Wilson at linebacker, I would say that we missed. I'm not going to compare him to Alex Kappa. Not going to do that. But I do think it's like very similar of if with the need that we have at LB, if Logan Wilson is the answer to that problem, I would say we swung and missed as an organization. What up, OG? I traded back with the Jets. Would you take pick 2 and 16, and would be our quarterback Reese trade up for Sony? Doesn't sound bad. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this sounds horrific. And if you're the Raiders and you only get 2 first-round picks for the number 1 overall pick, I'm not kidding you. If the Raiders did this trade, I would make we should fire Klint Kubiak shirts because I would be that upset. I think Sony Styles is an unbelievable athlete. being able to watch him up close in person and just see how big he is. He's an outstanding player. But the only way you as an organization, and I mean the Raiders, trade the number 1 overall pick is if the New York Jets give you all of their first-round picks for the next 3 years. And the Jets aren't going to do that. No organization is going to give it up. But you got to think about what trading for a franchise quarterback is. And trading for a franchise quarterback is worth multiple, and I mean multiple, first-round picks. So I have absolutely, positively no interest in trading with the Jets. I really don't. So Rebel said it's a Madden trade. Like, I actually think this, OG, you're getting ripped off. And at the end of the day, I never want to be ripped off. Sean, what up, Sean? Can the nation send prayers and positive vibes to my girl's dad, Renee Martinez? He was just diagnosed with throat-tongue cancer for the second time. He is a Raider fan and amazing father. I mean, if y'all could, can we get some prayer emoji? I think you guys are already doing it down below. And, I'm always very humbled when we get messages like this on this program. I mean, it really blows my mind. And I mean that in a good way, right? Like, you feel that you want to tell people. I am also a believer when you put good energy out in the world, good stuff happens. And, like, I know a lot of times people say thoughts and prayers, but, like, when people ask for this type of stuff, I do hope people take 5 seconds, 10 seconds, however much time you need. And, before you go to bed tonight, think of this super chat and, pray for Renee Martinez. I do. I'll say this. I don't think it hurts. And cancer is a bitch, dude. Cancer is, it sucks to get it back a second time. It's a mental battle, but I do think anybody that I've ever met that's beat cancer, they have a lot of people in their corner. So, Sean, shout out to you, dude. Shout out to you, and I hope everyone out there, again. Renee, hope a lot of people got your back, man. Keep on going. Keep on going. We got another one coming in here, which I believe is from Darian. After this super chat from Darian, I'm going to run through. I'm going to tell all of y'all the updated duck race number, and then I'm also going to tell you who ended up getting in this duck race. I do have to take a quick pee. I've been drinking a lot of fluids, so I do apologize for that. And then we will get into the final segment here on today's show, which will be the Raiders running back targets in free agency. Yo, Mitch, you've been hitting the streets working hard lately, and we're lucky to have you. I heard Minkah Fitzpatrick may be available. Would you consider him, and what do you think it'll take? It has been reported that Minkah Fitzpatrick could be traded. I guess the problem is he's 29 years old. If I'm Minkah, I want to go play for a contender. And if I'm a team that's trying to contend, I would be willing to give up more than what the Raiders probably should be interested in giving up for Minkah. Outstanding Swiss Army knife on the back end of a defense. But trading for Minkah is a win-now move. I want the Raiders to win now. I really, really do. But I think we have to be more patient this offseason, and we got to be more willing to buy into the rebuild. And that's okay, right? Like, I think buying into the rebuild is an okay thing to want, but where I don't think that we can do is give up multiple draft picks, go get a Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then he's gone in 3 years. What I think would be a smarter move is the Raiders look at a guy maybe like a Genesis Smith. Do I think Genesis Smith is just as good as Minkah Fitzpatrick? No, not even close. But the safety out of Arizona did have a combine meeting with the Raiders, a true free safety target. Probably got to take him in day 3 or in round 3. I don't think he makes it to day 3, but Minka's a great player. I just don't see him being a Raider, and that's just the way that it is. But I do appreciate this question. I did talk about Minkah like 2 weeks ago, I think, when this news came out. I believe a brief conversation, but I did discuss it. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go use the restroom here. If you don't know, $20 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. You're going to be able to get in our duck race, which right now, Rustin Long, you are in. Also, I see Rustin is in our March Madness bracket, which I think is awesome. So it's a $20 Venmo right now to win $150 on the program. Though now I see Crystal, Marie in, and then DeAndre Mallory in. 20 to win, $170. And if you want to get in our March Madness, we already got 13 people in our March Madness bracket. Winner would go home with $1,600. That is a $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. My guy Jeremy Chuggs is going to hold it down. I've been drinking a lot of fluids. Obviously, I'm sick. I don't sound great, so I'm just going to go pee real quick, and then I'll be right back. As soon as I get back, running back free agent targets for the Raiders. Then we're going to do a duck race, and then we are going to get the F out of here. Chuggs.
All right. I have an interesting question that hopefully will eat up about 5 minutes while Mitch goes to the restroom. So, we had a debate here in the office, and I want to hear from you folks in the chat right now. If all of the guys in this draft, everybody that's available in this draft, formed a team, how many wins do you think they would get in an NFL season? If everybody in this draft class, so quarterback would be Fernando Mendoza, running back would be Jeremiah Love. You have the top receivers, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Kenyon Sadiq would be the tight end. If all of the best players from this draft created a team, how many wins are they getting? Darren says 0. You must not have a lot of faith in Fernando. Let me know down below in the comments section. 5-7, 6, 2, 3-5. Y'all might think this is a weak draft class then. 6. I see King Javier says quarterback 17-0. Let me know. 6 or 7 from Raider Papo. 8 from OG Bloodstain. We've got 8, 10 plus, 8, 9. John says easily 12 wins. 10 plus from Sarah. Think about it. Defense, you have Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. The corners, Mansour Delane, the guy from Tennessee. Oh, that's a good question, Big Raz. Who's the coach from Ron Raspberry? Let's say Kurt Cignetti. Kurt Cignetti's the head coach. I see a lot of – it's either 3-6 and other people on the other side saying 12-15. I think it's an interesting thought, an interesting discussion to be had. Because, you think about it, the best guys from this draft class. The corners, that worries me. The offensive line would worry me just a little bit. Would you have a good O-line unit with the 5 best guys from this draft class? Possibly. See 12 wins, 10 wins, 8. Raider Ron, who's in for March Madness? I think Mitch has been writing it down in this. Yep. So far, he has David Vergara, Jeremy Valve, L.A. Crash Dog, Yoda Jenkins, Amy, Amon Brar, Ron Raspberry, Husker Raider, Raider Ron, LCA, Moshav, the Night Devil, Rustin Long. That's who we have in so far for March Madness. We did get a couple more Super Chats rolling in from my guy Navman. Tuna! Mitch has a 5-gallon bladder, or he's just slow. Not sure which. Matched to Ginty is love.
Well, I do have I actually do think my bladder is pretty big. I just think it's because my stomach can expand a lot. I just had to get a refill of water, and I've been trying to not touch anything at the studio. So, trying to get water, open the fridge, doors, everything. I'm, doing it with, my elbows and shit, so.
Mitch, you were at the Combine.
I was.
If all of the rookies created a team, how many wins would they get in the NFL?
I think it's an interesting question. I think the number, the areas that the rookies would struggle is the trenches. I do really think that I think defensive tackle, offensive line, you're talking about young men going up against grown men. I think we always talk about, could this NFL team, could the Raiders last year beat Indiana last season? That'd be an interesting game. But I do think the Raiders would win because of just the trenches alone, and you're talking, again, kids coming out of college compared to grown men in the NFL. I do think, though, There'd be a few games that
John
they'd
said
win.
easily 12 wins.
That's crazy. I mean, I would say, like, shit, dude, if I watched the Raiders last season, why can't a new team filled with all these prospects win 3 to 4 games? I'll go 3 to 4 games. But I think that they would struggle in the trenches, which would make life difficult for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's a lot of talent. I mean, if you're saying I could pick all the top players from the entire draft and like that's your entire unit, it's a lot of talent. Can't deny it. Starters at every position, Big Raz. I'd probably go like 3 to 4 wins. Nav, David Montgomery, Chugs, thoughts?
I like it. I do wish they would have been able F Sam, F the Broncos. Basically what happened was the Texans had a deal in place for a 5th round pick. The Broncos called the Lions and said, "We'll give you a 4th." So then the Texans reworked their deal to a 4th, a 7th, and one of their backup offensive linemen. I would have loved it way more if it was just for the 5th round pick.
Yep.
To be honest, rather than the 4th round pick. I did think the only thing this shows to me is this kind of ties with the Raiders. The Texans might be the most aggressive team in free agency at the offensive line. That's what that trade tells me. They don't want to pay Kenneth Walker $13 to $14 million.
Yep.
They don't want to pay one of these other running backs. When you trade for David Montgomery, he's $5 to $6 million against your cap for the next 2 years.
Yep.
That's way cheaper. So I believe this signifies the Texans. They also, right before that, traded away their starting right tackle in Titus Howard. This tells me they're going to be very aggressive. Braden Smith might be a Texan, the top right tackle in free agency. You might see, I don't think Tyler Linderbaum, but maybe one of the Bills' interior offensive linemen, Connor McGovern, David Edwards. There's been a lot of rumors around Cade Mays, the Panthers center. Even the guard spot, re-signing Ed Ingram. What will he get? I think the Texans will be very aggressive at the offensive line spot, and I think them getting David Montgomery shows that.
I mean, there's the conversation around C.J. Stroud right now. Stroud struggled last season, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I also think at the same time they had no running game. You go out and get yourself David Montgomery, and if you invest in that offensive line, then there's no more excuses.
We still do need a speed back. Montgomery, great vision, great running back. More of a 4.6 guy, doesn't have the breakaway speed. Same with our guy that we have, Woody Marks. That's why we talked about him earlier. I like Damone Claiborne, or getting like a speedster from the draft, but those would be my takes around. Those would be my takes around the Texans getting David Montgomery. Good question, though. Good question. So far, we do have 17 people in the duck race, so the winner of this duck race would go home with $170 on today's show. You can also get into our March Madness bracket, which will be going on in a couple weeks. Really fun. The winner of that's going to go home with 1,600 doll hairs.
1,600 doll hairs. That's wild, man. That's pretty flippin' wild. All right, so let's get in, y'all, to the final segment here on today's show. I did get a few extra people while I was away. Juan, Nav, you in? I see Jose Salas in, and then Joe and you in. So $20 Venmo right now for a chance to win. It looks like $200 here on the Raiders Report. 200 today. This we will do once March Madness starts. Obviously, we also still need to get 64 people in. We do not have all 64 people in as it stands right now. So we talked about linebacker free agent targets. The next position that we're really going to have to look closely at is I want to look at running backs. And the reason why I wanted to do linebackers and running backs today is because 3-4 defense being switched. I remember the moment it happened at the Combine, I was like, shit, I want to talk about free agent linebacker targets. And then also Klint Kubiak said something in regards to trying to keep Ashton Genty healthy and really just trying to make sure that he's good for the long haul. So the Raiders are going to be looking at an RB2. So because those were two things that I heard from the Combine, I wanted to talk LB targets, I wanted to talk RB targets, and that's what we're doing today here on the Raiders Report. So, I'm going to get a sip of water. I got a cough coming. I can't get it out. Ugh. And I do apologize again for sounding as awful as I do. I'm kind of annoying myself right now. So, let's get in to our top free agent running back targets. It's GLD again. You guys ready to rock? I hope the answer is yes, because ready or not, here I come. Giggity. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, the Raiders free agent targets at the running back position. Klint Kubiak at the NFL Combine said that he wants to use 2 running backs. So today, I have ranked the top 10 running backs that I want this organization to target once free agency starts. If you did not see what our new head coach had to say at the Combine, this is what he said. We definitely want to have a 2-man show. Guys that can share the load. It's a long season. You don't want to put all the carries and targets on one guy. So right now, we're identifying guys that are available in the draft, identifying free agents we might go after, looking at our own roster, and seeing who can share that. It's important that Genty has a wingman. And if y'all are trying to be my wingman, I'm going to be live here on the Raiders Report for free agency. It starts the legal tampering period, noon Eastern time. Raiders got a lot of money to spend, and I expect John Spytek to be aggressive. When I spoke to Spytek at the Combine, he wouldn't tell me what the Raiders' top needs are, but he knew that the Raiders had a lot of needs. And the fact that the new league year begins Wednesday, March 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time, this is when all those deals will become officially official. And I promise y'all this, I will provide more free agency coverage than any other person on planet Earth when it revolves around the silver and black. We're going to be giving away money. We're going to be giving away prizes. If you want to hang out with me and my team here, we're going to be talking all things NFL free agency. I bet y'all I'm live 25, 30 hours next week. Book it. Buckle it up. Make sure you bring your drinking pants, because I'm telling you what, free agency coverage here on the Raiders Report is one of my favorite weeks of the year. The way that we're going to do today's show is we're going to work our way from 10 all the way down to 1. 1 being the number 1 running back I want the silver and black to go out and get. Also, what's very important about this show, just because a player is ranked lower doesn't mean that he's not as talented. What I also consider is fit, I also consider age, and I also just consider how much money it's going to cost the Raiders to go out and get him. Coming in here at number 10, I'm going to say Nick Chubb. I had the opportunity to watch Chubb a little bit more closely this season. Obviously, Chubbs has done a hell of a job covering the Houston Texans. But I had a source tell me some stuff about Joe Mixon at the beginning of the season. So then I started watching Woody Marks. I started watching Nick Chubb a little bit closely. Because Chubb is a good running back and he's a physical back, I do wonder, could you just put him as your RB2? But I actually think that this would be more of like a Zamir White replacement than I do think of Raheem Mostert. And if they were to add Chubb, I actually think then the Raiders would look to add another running back in the draft a little bit higher up overall. He is getting up there in age. He's not nearly as talented as what he once was in Cleveland. But Raheem Mostert and Zamir White, they're both free agents. So coming in here at number 10, I'm going to go with old reliable Nick Chubb. Let's go to number 9, a familiar face, and I'm going to put Amir Abdullah. And I was a little bit surprised that I had Amir ranked above Chubb, but I do think Abdullah is a better fit for what this team needs. And I don't think that Abdullah would be that secondary back to Ashton Genty. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is finding free agent targets at the running back position. And if you're able to bring in a reliable pass-catching back, somebody that I loved what he brought to the table for the Raiders over those few seasons that he was with us, like, that's important. The Spotrac market value, it's cheap, $1.9 million, because he's a tough, reliable pass catcher that can also pick up blitz packages, was with the Raiders from 2022 to 2024, also has a year of overlap with Klint Kubiak in Minnesota in 2021. But if you go out and you get Amir, he's probably your RB3. The Raiders then probably look to add another running back in the draft to be able to pair with Ashton Genty. Let's go to number 8 here on my board, and it's going to be Raheem Mostert. And Mostert does cause a little bit of pause because he's 33 years old, getting up there in age a little bit, and he did not look all that productive. But then again, the Raiders literally didn't use him on special teams the first 3 weeks. That was a dumb decision. The Raiders' offensive line last season, was an absolute joke. The reason why I like Raheem Mostert here, cheap deal, 1 year, $1.5 million, but he also has experience in a Kyle Shanahan running game, and I think a lot of the things that Shanahan utilizes, hell, the year that Mostert had 21 touchdowns in Miami in 2023, that's Mike McDaniel. That comes from a Shanahan offense. That comes from, and it's very similar to what the style of offense that Klint Kubiak is going to run from a zone gap scheme. So, Mostert, I get it, up there in age. Didn't look all that great last season. But if you want somebody that you know has continuity with Genti, a running back that can help you out on special teams, and a guy that I don't really think we really got an opportunity to see much of last season, Raheem Mostert comes in here at number 8. Now, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. If the Raiders can only sign one running back, you're only allowed to sign one. Who should it be? And let me know why. My why and the running back that I want the Raiders to sign will be ranked number 1 on today's show. Hopefully you take this opportunity and shoot your shot. That's what the Raiders Report is all about. I don't want to be the only guy up here giving my opinion. That's not how good friendships work. It's not how conversations work. So if you're a real one, let me know down below the running back you want the silver and black to sign. Let's go to number 7 here. It's going to be Jeremy McNichols, and I got to be very transparent. The first 5 backs that you're going to see on this show are really probably closer to like RB3, RB2s than being a true like back that can work with Ashton Genti the way that we want them to. But I at least want to be able to give you guys some different names that you could think about. And McNichols at 30 years old didn't really do too much in terms of a running game last season for Washington, but he did catch 25 balls on 31 targets, which I do think is a very interesting role that he could play with Las Vegas. He does overlap with Klint Kubiak in 2023 in San Francisco, though he literally doesn't have any stats that season. His projected contract is 1 year, $1.5 million, according to PFF. But if you're looking for a running back that can catch the football, that's played in every single game over the past 2 seasons that you can get at a cheap discount that does have Klint Kubiak experience, Jeremy McNichols could be just one of those really, really cheap backs that you could add as an RB3. Coming up next here on the show, my top 6 running back free agent targets. And I want you to think about that Klint Kubiak quote, okay? That Klint Kubiak quote is about to start making sense because the running backs that I'm about to talk about will be more backs that you can start to split a little bit more work with Ashton Genti. Speaking of Ashton Genti, he's a bell cow. He's the number 1 back on this team. And if you're looking for the number 1 spot where you got to get some bling, it's GLD. Change the game. Use code CHAT for 50% off. I didn't stutter. 50% off. Code CHAT at GLD.com. Every guy's got those go-to pieces. Like, I know if Alex and I are doing date night, I want to wear certain clothes. Maybe I got a certain shirt. Maybe I got certain pants. Hell, I even have certain underwear that I wear on special occasions. Like, shout out to my guy, Max Crosby. He hooked me up with the Sacks. Absolutely love them. But the one thing that I love about GLD is they got chains, pennants, bracelets, iced out watches. I mean, they have all sorts of different things. Over 2 million customers, 50,000 5-star reviews, and they've been worn by stars like A$AP Rocky, Justin Bieber. GLD offers every price point from the entry-level 18-karat gold-plated, kind of like the one that I'm rocking right now, which is the chain that I got on. Also, though, they got much things that are maybe even a little bit more out of my price range. But no matter what the occasion is, whether it's a date night or whether you're live on the Raiders Report, if you want to get the chain that I'm always wearing, then this is your one-stop shop to get your hands on it. And, you know, I know there's a lot of other sports out there. Like, you got a kid who's in the baseball game. Hey, man, they got gloves. They got all sorts of different pennants. But if you want this chain, the Raiders chain, the one I got on, then go down in the comment section, go down in the description, go to GLD.com because you're going to be able to get 50% off with code CHAT at GLD.com. Work hard and change the game. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. After your purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the Raiders Report. Please tell them that we sent you because at the end of the day, I want to be able to hook up Raider Nation with awesome deals like this. And this is a great chain that I can wear to work. It's also a great chain that I can wear on date night for my wife. Let's go to number 6 here on our free agent running back targets, Najee Harris. And Najee's kind of a difficult one to wrap my mind around. Obviously, had an injury last season. And it really zapped him of his entire year coming off a torn Achilles. I don't know what Najee's going to look like coming off a torn Achilles. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. If Najee looks like the version that I saw in 2021 to 2024, a running back that, can run between the tackles, isn't going to wow you, but is somebody that can catch the football, somebody that can handle a larger workload, and he literally didn't miss a game. That's a guy I'm very interested in. The PFF projected contract, 1 year, 1.35. I love that value for Najee. I liked him coming out of Alabama. I didn't think that he was going to be the type of player that some other people thought. Like, I remember hearing the Derrick Henry comparisons, and I really only think that's just because of the size and the helmet that he wore in college. But, I mean, look at 2024 to 2022. Those are a lot of productive seasons in the mix there. He does have some AFC West kind of experience last season with the Chargers. But, again, if you're telling me I'm getting a healthy Najee, I think it's an interesting RB2 in this offense. Let's go to number 5, J.K. Dobbins. And very similar to what I said about Najee. If you told me I could turn off injuries, I would probably rank J.K. Dobbins much higher on this list. And I actually feel bad for J.K. simply because he's just been injured what it seems like every single season. But when he's been healthy, he's been a really good running back. And I remember watching him when he was first coming out of Ohio State. But at 27 years old, the first 10 weeks of last season, J.K. Dobbins, I think, was the best running back on Denver. And I don't think it was all that close. I think he was better than R.J. Harvey. I think he was a big, big fit for what they were trying to do offensively. But he hasn't been able to stay healthy. 49 games missed since 2020. So if you're willing to take a player on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal that I don't want to say you can almost guarantee he's going to get hurt because that's not fair to Dobbins. But if I'm putting on my Raiders cap and if I'm putting on my organization, if I'm putting on my front office cap, do I want to invest $5.5 million in J.K. Dobbins, who does anybody here think he's going to play all 17 games? I know I don't. And if the objective is to find a running back who you can count on at the end of the season to help keep Ashton Jeanty healthy, Dobbins might not be that guy. But if you just need a running back for the first half of the season and then you really lean on Ashton Jeanty to be your bell cow, well, then maybe J.K. Dobbins is your guy. Let's go to number 4 here, Brian Robinson. And Brian Robinson, it's not a sexy move at all. That's okay to me. You know why? Because we already have our sexy running back in Jeanty. 6'1", 225-pound Robinson. He's going to do what you need him to do. I need you to get north and south. That's what he is. He's a north and south running back. He's not going to flash too much. 212 snaps was a career low last season in San Francisco's offense, but then again, you're behind Christian McCaffrey. I think if you're looking at this Raiders offense, 212 snaps for Brian Robinson, that makes sense. But a reliable RB2 with 662 carries, 73 receptions since the 2022 season. If you're able to get him on a 1-year, $2.75 million deal, I do think that can be an intriguing option for a guy who had, look at those numbers, 8 rushing touchdowns in 2024, 9 rushing touchdowns in 2023, because the other part of this equation needs to be, can I rely on a running back in the red zone? Can I rely on a running back to put the ball in his gut and he's not going to fumble it when it matters the most? Ryan Robinson, very well-liked player, very hard-working guy, loves football, a lot of boxes being checked in my book. So I want the Raiders, I want to be very clear, I want the Raiders to add a free agent running back this offseason. And if you agree with that statement, I hope that you hit that like button. I know we have Ashton Jeanty, but you can't just think about Jeanty. You got to think about replacing Raheem Mostert, replacing Zamir White. And with all due respect, I don't have any confidence in Dylan Laube, and I don't have any confidence in Chris Collier. So if you're able to draft a running back and sign one, I think that is a great investment in Jeanty to make sure that he is as healthy and as best he possibly can be in December, in January, and hopefully also on Valentine's Day. Now, you're going to see 3 running backs not on this show because it's not that I don't like Kenneth Walker. It's not that I don't like Travis Etienne or Rico Dowdle. Javonte Williams also, he ended up signing with the Cowboys, I believe it was on February 21st, 3 years, $24 million. But if you're the Raiders, I think we have so many other holes that I don't think that you can spend the amount of money that's going to cost to go out and get Kenneth Walker. If you can get Travis Etienne at like $6-7 million per year, you can entertain that idea. But I think he could end up getting more on the open market. Rico Dowdle, the only reason why I'm not really sold on him is he wants to be a lead back. He made that very clear to Carolina. I don't think he would want to be an RB2 with Ashton Jeanty. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have him on this list. Yes, it's important to find an RB2, but I don't want to break the bank on that RB2 position. Let's go to number 3 here, my free agent running back targets, Kenneth Gainwell from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was extremely, and I mean extremely impressed by what Gainwell was able to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers because, at the end of the day, I want a running back that if God forbid Jeanty goes down, can I trust him to be in a larger role? And he stepped into a much larger role in 2025, and he produced 1,023 scrimmage yards. Like, he's a reliable pass catcher. He's a really solid third down back. 2 years, $8 million. I think that's good value. And, he is a little bit undersized, no doubt about it. But at 26 years old, would you guys be interested in a young Amir Abdullah? If your answer is yes to that, then you should look at somebody like Kenneth Gainwell, who I think has the career year this past season in Pittsburgh. Spent some seasons in Philadelphia, spent some seasons in Pennsylvania, but getting a new opportunity to be an RB2 to Jeanty, I think when people think of what an RB2 looks like for the Raiders, they think of more of like a scat back like Kenneth. And if the Raiders are looking for a scat back, I think Gainwell's a hell of an option. But to me, there are two options that I just think fit better of what Klint Kubiak is looking in terms of your prototypical RB2 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Coming in here at number 2, it's Rachaad White. He's got some connections to John Spytek, got some Tampa Bay ties, obviously, from his time being there. 6 foot, 214-pound, 27-year-old running back. But I will say, I think he's coming off the best year of his career. And I also think he's a really, really good fit for the Kubiak offense. He was one of the best running backs last season in zone and gap runs. Also last year, I like when players show me that they can make improvements. Rachaad White had some fumbling issues. 0 fumbles last season, 0 drops in 2025. If I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty off the field, I need to know the snaps that he's off the field are going to be good snaps. And White showed last season that he can be relied upon. 2 years, $11 million, 5.5 mils, I think kind of the area that you should be looking at for somebody like White to be that RB2, but 132 carries in 2025, 144 in 2024. Those would be the types of stat lines that I personally would be looking for from Rachaad White if you pair him up with the Jeanty. 2022, 2023, especially 2023, I just don't see those types of numbers happening. But if you can give me 2024, 2025 production and not turn the ball over, Rachaad White is a phenomenal fit next to Jeanty. But number 1, and I have said this name multiple times, hell, I've already done an entire video on why I believe Tyler Algier is the perfect running back that the Raiders should sign to pair with Ashton Jeanty. And it's because he's perfect for the RB2 role. Think about what he just did in Atlanta with Bijan Robinson. Tyler, I'm going to ask you to do the exact same thing. There have been some rumors out there that he wants $8 million a year. That ain't going to happen. And if he wants to go get $8 million a year, it's not going to be with the Las Vegas Raiders. If you're telling me I can get him on this PFF projected contract at 2 years, $10 million, phenomenal, phenomenal deal. 20 touchdowns in the last 4 seasons. Also, he's never missed an NFL game. 8 touchdowns last season in the ATL. But I want a reliable running back. This guy has never fumbled. In fact, he has the most touches in NFL history. 737 touches without a fumble. He can catch the football. He can run between the tackles. I know that the 3.6 yards per carry last season might scare some people, but that's also an offense that was 2 totally different offenses. Like, when it was Tyler Algier and Kirk Cousins under center, he was much better. When it was Michael Penix and they were running a lot more out of the shotgun, it wasn't nearly as good. So when you compare the type of offense that Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders are going to run with Klint Kubiak, it's a lot closer to Kirk Cousins. So because of that, I believe Tyler Algier is the perfect running back that this organization can pair with Ashton Jeanty. Before I hop on out of here real quick, 10 down to 7 are really just, I would consider more RB2, RB3 names. If Najee Harris is healthy and J.K. Dobbins, very interesting running back twos to be able to pair with Jeanty. Brian Robinson is not a sexy name, but that's okay if he can fill the role that we're looking him to fill. Really where I think that this show should start, my top 3, Kenneth Gainwell, Rachaad White, and then there's a tier gap between White and Tyler Algier. If you're the Raiders and you really want to be able to find an RB2 to put to Jeanty that fits with this offense, that fits with what we're doing, Rachaad White, Tyler Algier should be your top 2 candidates. And you already know, if the Raiders sign any of my top guys, we party, we go wild on the show. I will be live for all of free agency. It's the most busy time of the year for us here, maybe outside of the NFL draft. If you appreciate the content, if you want to hang out with the Raider Nation, and if you want to know NFL news that happens before you see it on TV, hit that subscribe button. I promise you, you're going to love our free agency coverage. And if you don't, you can unsubscribe. It's 100% free. You get your money back guaranteed. What up, John? Chugs, Jack Kenna 916 said, if Indiana played Notre Dame in the Natty this past year, who would have won?
Indiana.
I don't know how anybody doesn't think that Indiana wouldn't have beat everyone. They were the best team. They beat Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. They mollywopped Alabama and Oregon, and then literally on Miami's home field, they beat them.
It's Indiana.
Indiana was the best team in the country last season, and I don't think it's close. And it shouldn't be close to anyone.
Now, if you're talking about the Indiana national title team against the Notre Dame national title team.
But they didn't even win the national championship.
2 years ago?
It was Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, Ohio State beat them in the Natty. Yeah, Indiana wins that one, too.
I will say Fernando Mendoza has been working out with Skylar Howard. So the past 2 Natty guys, working out together. Shep, Mitch, still waiting on my hoodie. No worries, though. What hoodie?
Like, did you order one?
I'll say, did you order a hoodie? I mean, if you ordered a hoodie on our website, I mean, I have no control over that. If you went to, like, chatsports.com/RR shop and you ordered a hoodie.
He said, we're Kubiak, I want it.
Oh, boy, Shep. Yep, I got you down here. I have not submitted the order yet. So I typically do that on Wednesdays. So because I was gone last week from the NFL Combine and because the week before that, I forget what happened on that Wednesday, I didn't get as many opportunities. But tomorrow I will submit the order. I have you down as, does your first name begin with an M? And do you live in Texas? If the answer to that is yes, then I will submit that order tomorrow for you. But
he said he thinks they signed 4 to 6 linebackers, in my opinion. How about a Walker-Genty duo? Kenneth Walker, Ashton Genty.
I mean, Kenneth Walker and Ashton Genty, don't get me wrong, would be a hell of an RB. It'd be a hell of a duo. But the only way that I would say you as a team do that is if you're very confident in all your other spots. Like, running back position to me has to be the cherry on top. Like, what I don't want to happen is that, like, basically what the Raiders did last season, where you invested a high draft pick in Genty, but you don't do everything else around you. You know, you don't get the full use out of Genty. The only way that you can bring in a guy like Kenneth Walker is if you're extremely confident in your offensive line and all the other pieces around him. But I love Kenneth. I don't think it makes any sense, though, for the Raiders to bring him in. I don't. Hell of a player. In terms of 4 to 6 linebackers, I think you're looking to sign 2. I think you're looking to sign 2 and draft another
I think Kenneth Walker's looking for 13 a year.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, why draft a running back like Genty to take advantage of that rookie contract if you're just going to go out and sign a running back who's, I mean, if I'm Kenneth Walker, I'm the Super Bowl MVP. I just saw that Breece Hall got tagged at somewhere around 14. That's where I want to start.
Amon Barar says, Raiders, thoughts on Aaron Jones when he gets released?
Aaron Jones is an extremely intriguing option. I actually thought about putting him in this video. Probably should have. He's going to become the Vikings have already said that they're going to release him. Now, they're going to try to trade him. I don't really know if a team's going to trade for Aaron Jones, but because Aaron Jones does have some Minnesota ties, again, no, to my knowledge, no overlap with Kubiak anywhere, but Aaron Jones would be another running back that I would consider, yes. Like, Aaron Jones on this show that I just did would probably be in that, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranking range. I think it's a good question, though. All right, y'all. If you don't already know, final chance for you to get in our duck race. I'm running out of gas here. I got to get some medicine in me. I'm hurting. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm hurting. So, $20 Venmo gets you in the duck race. If you want to get in our March Madness, I got you. David Zahn in March Madness. Love it. Zahn, you in. We're already up to 14 people in. I also see. Sorry, my phone is loading right now. All right, here are the people that are getting in our duck race, and I'll just give you guys some shout-outs. So Joe And was the last name that I saw, and then it is actually Joe Guy. Joe Guyn is in March Madness. Love it, appreciate it. Papo Cologne in. Cody Baker's got 2 ducks in. Zahn got somebody, Mount Raidermore. I don't know if you want me to say who it was, but Mount Raidermore, somebody from Mount Raidermore paid for David Zahn. Luis Ban in. And then Timmy Jones, you in. $20 Venmo right now to win $250 here on the program. And we got 15 people right now in our March Madness bracket. Love it, love it. Somebody said Geno trade. I don't think Geno is going to get dealt. I do know that the Vikings have been a team kind of sniffing around, but it sounds like they've been sniffing around a lot of quarterbacks. The only way I would say of if the Raiders were to trade Geno Smith, I don't think a team's going to give you a 7th. Would you as an organization be willing to be like, okay, we'll give a team like the Vikings our 5th round pick and Geno Smith, and then they take on the entirety of his contract? Would you give up a 5th round pick in order to save an extra $18 million? I think it's an interesting option.
Apparently the Vikings.
Vikings.
Apparently the Vikings like him.
The Vikings have been doing a lot of homework. But also, I mean, again, I think Geno was definitely limited by Chip, this offensive line. I'm not saying it's all on Geno Smith, no doubt about it. But I also think if you got to be able to bring in a quarterback that inspires confidence, and Geno was a disaster and JJ was a disaster last season. You better hope they win, because I think if you make a deal for Geno and it doesn't work out, I think they might be looking for a new coach. And I like Kevin O'Connell. All right, final refresh here on today's show. Final chance for y'all to get in. DJ Brewer is the last name. DJ Brewer is in, which means winner's going to go home with $260. Winner's going to go home with $260. Can you just add DJ for me, and then we should be right of the rock?
Yeah,
Again,
sure.
y'all, greatly appreciate you kind of bearing with me today. I know I probably shouldn't apologize, but I feel like I have to, just because I know I don't sound great. I'll tell you this, I don't know if I would want to listen to me talk. I do appreciate it. I was allowed to take off today. I didn't want to do that just because it's been so long since I've been live and I've been able to hang out with all of y'all. So, getting guys like Bayou, getting guys like LA Crash Dog, when they bang on a show like today, I want y'all to know it does, man. It means a lot to me. And for everybody out there that has gotten in the duck race, everybody out there that submitted a question, everybody that's here that's just watching the show, the NFL Combine was an extremely, extremely humbling opportunity, and I don't take it lightly, and I hope that y'all know that you guys are a big reason why I was able to go to that.
Beers.
If anybody wants a Beers hat, get your Beers hat here. Beers. Chatsports.com/RR shop, or if you just want to get your hands on a Raiders Report cap, it's also available at that link that you see down there below.
But we also have one that says beers.
We also have beers if you like beers. If you want to let everybody know that you love beers, St. Patty's Day, we got you. You ready? Nav, I know. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it going. Leading this race right now, Soulja Man.
This probably makes sense with how me and Mitch sound right now.
I was just going to say.
Today's show brought to you by Puffs.
Oh, man. No, when I think of Puffs, I don't think of the tissue. Well, there's I don't know if y'all have this store. There's a store in my hometown where they sell tobacco products. Puffs. No?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I never smoked or did anything but I had a lot of family members that did.
Same.
Juan Nav following up. Dude, Raider Ron looks like he's got some years underneath his belt.
Wise.
Crystal Marie stole your helmet.
Oh, Fabian Moreno, the Zorro.
I kind of love that one. I mean, we do call him the Night Devil. Maybe we should call him the Night Ninja. 10 seconds to go. Winner's going to go home with $260. No? Does that mean something? Papa Cologne! Nabman! Nabman in his Indiana red gets the dub today. Nab, shout out to you, brother. A big win. Big win for my guy, Nab, man.
And Nav, you know what? You can take those winnings and buy a beer hat.
Or a boat.
Beers.
Beers. Nab said, oh shit, I actually won one. Yes, you did. Nav, if you could please confirm down below that I just sent you $260, that would be much appreciated, my guy. When was the last time you won, Nav? Honestly, bro, I got no idea.
Beers.
I got no idea. If you want a Beers hat, go to chatsports.com/RRshop, or you can just get the Raiders Report hat also at chatsports.com
Beers.
/RRshop. If you guys do not know, NFL free agency coverage, I will be live. I hope you hit that subscribe button.
Nav, when you say got it, do you mean the Venmo or the Beers hat?
If I expect a crazy off season. I will be live on Monday. Chugs and I also are working on Sunday, so I'm not going to be live on Friday because we're actually off that day. I typically do Friday happy hour. I don't think I'm going to be live another time this week, and that's only because, again, I'm sick right now. I don't want to do a happy hour show on Thursday if I'm not feeling 100%. I'm also trying to get a lot of content out for free agency, so just be on the lookout. Obviously, if any Raiders breaking news happens, that'll change my opinion, and I will go live for all that. But if I'm not live again this week, the next time you will see me live here on the Raiders Report will be Monday. And if I had to guess, I'm probably live at least an hour or two before.
Nav, are you going live tonight? People are asking.
People are asking. People are talking. What do you think? Noon Eastern time, that's 11 our time. Hour before? Or even more? Probably an hour before. We'll figure it out. I will be live on Monday, March 9th for NFL free agency. Hit that sub button, turn on those notifications, and like Rebel always says, it's time to go eat.